Chapter 91. Li Jianyu, the cameraman, and the other staff members were all shocked. Teacher Xiangyi actually scored 699 points in the college entrance exam. Xiangyu, who had been one step too slow and had his words stolen by Shui, so angry. He also remembered his sister's score. This kind of face-slapping thing should be done by him. The older brother. This was stealing his rice bowl. Asterisk, asterisk. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Bairuo's face turned pale as she laughed dryly. Senior Sure, are you joking? What do you think? Shui slowly adjusted her gold-rimmed glasses. Her eyes were thin as she looked at her with a faint smile. The broadcast room was filled with questions. 699 points? Is the full score 750? Is Ingdi covering for the vase fairy? I'm speechless. Shui actually lied for a woman like this. Bairuo was flustered by Shui's gaze and stuttered. As senior, how do you know this? Shui said lightly, Our families are old friends. Isn't it normal to know this? Besides, college entrance exam results can't be faked. Do you think I'm lying? With just a few words, Bairuo was rendered speechless. Xiangyi, who was trimming the flowers, stopped and looked at Shui with some surprise. It was normal to know, but remembering was rare. It turned out that Zai was not only smart and diligent, but also very attentive. Xiangyu was scratching his head anxiously. He wanted to yell at Shui to shut up and give me a chance to perform. He had treated his sister so badly before, and now he had to make up for it. He pulled out a precious video on his phone and showed it to Bairuo. Here, my sister's interview. It was an interview from Nanjing TV station, and the subtitles at the bottom read, A 15-year-old genius girl scored 699 points. The image had been compressed by the phone and was very blurry, but it was enough to recognize that the person being interviewed was Xiangyi herself. At that time, the little girl still had some baby fat on her cheeks, and her hair was tied up in 2 ponytails. She was so adorable that it exploded. Reporter, today is the release of results. We interviewed a 15-year-old passerby student. Who would have thought that she would score 699? Your family must be very happy with such a high score, right? My second brother said that I'm too stupid. When he was 15 years old, he was almost done with his medical doctoral thesis. The reporter was speechless for 2 seconds. He maintained his good professionalism and continued to ask, Wow, it seems that your brother is very outstanding. You are a science student. Do you have any learning experiences that you would like to share with everyone? Just read the book twice and do some practice questions. The reporter, what if you can't do it after watching it twice? No. The little girl tilted her head. Then, let's watch it again. Reporter, fake smile. JPG picked up the milk tea and took a big sip. As she chewed on the pearl, she said gloomily, My brother only watched it once. Every time I watched it twice, they would laugh at me. Reporter, continue to fake smile. JPG, all right, thank you for sharing with us. Let's interview the next passerby. Bairuo's eyes widened. She just wanted to lead the netizens to trample on Xiangyi, but she didn't expect Xiangyi to score so high on the college entrance exam. The broadcast room was once again shaken. Away is dead. 15-year-old sister, E is 2. Sweet, sweet, come on. The reporter's expression is my expression in front of the screen. The world of top students is indeed out of reach. Smile. Did Smog just say my sister? The vase fairy is his sister? How is that possible? Chapter 92. No way. It's probably just a slip of the tongue. Smog is a few months older than Xiangyi, so it's okay to call her sister, F***CK. I just searched. Guess what Sameo G's real name is? Xiangyu. He has the same surname as the Vase Fairy. Ha ha ha, hearing you guys call her the Vase Fairy all day long. I didn't even realize what her real name was. At the live broadcast, by Ruoro didn't even think that Smog and Xiangyi were siblings. However, she could feel that Shui and Smog were protecting Xiangyi. She didn't dare to cause trouble in the open and carefully continued to record. Li Jianyu cued everyone. Teachers, do you have any plans for the afternoon? Other variety shows would often be given tasks by the program team, but Two Under One Roof was different. They only gave a general direction, and as for the minor tasks, they were given the highest degree of freedom. To put it simply, the guests could do whatever they wanted. If they didn't want to work, they could just lie down and chat. Bai Ruoro had been eyeing the glass greenhouse for a long time. She felt that if she recorded inside, the results would be particularly good. In order to please Xiaoyang, she even went to etiquette class. If she could go to the glass greenhouse to drink afternoon tea and eat small cakes, it would be very elegant. Before she could speak, Xiangyu asked Xiangyi, where are we going? His tone was slightly uncomfortable. Just now, he had blurted out, my sister, but now he couldn't call her sister. After all, his sister hadn't called him Big Brother yet. A man's face was more important than the heavens. Whoever called him first would lose. He must coax his sister and make her willingly follow behind him and call him Big Brother. Shui also looked at Xiangyi. His temperament was gentle and elegant. If Bai Ruoro hadn't seen him in a dangerous state without his glasses, she would have thought that he was gentle and easy to talk to, just like the audience. Xiangyi, I'm going to Little Rabbit Farm to help Uncle Wang spray pesticides. Xiang, you didn't even think about it. I'll go with you. Shui chuckled. Sounds interesting. Bai Ruoro was about to vomit blood. Spray pesticides. The moment he heard it, it sounded dirty and unkempt. Who knows how much the netizens despised him. But for the sake of the camera, she couldn't stay alone. She could only pretend to be very happy. I'll go too. The cameraman chased after the guests who were about to shoot, explaining several different but vivid perspectives to the audience in the live broadcast room. The scale of Little Rabbit Farm could not be considered large, but even though it was small, it had all the essentials. Halfway up the hill, there were wild boars and goats, and further down, there was a dairy enclosure. The crop planting area was basically mechanized. There were planters, harvesters, and so on. Artificial intelligence robots were used in the warehouse. It was very convenient for them to tally, pick up, and deliver the goods. Wang Xuanli personally came over to give her a few remote controls. Xiangyi thanked him in a low voice. Bai Ruoro cursed Xiangyi countless times in her heart. It was such a hot day. She was going to get tanned. She was here to participate in a variety show, not to do farm work. Bai Ruoro couldn't help but feel aggrieved when she thought of the backward scenes in TV shows where she carried a water bottle and sprayed it everywhere. She pretended to be submissive and weak. Sister Xiangyi, where's the spray bottle? There's no need. How can there be no need? It's the kind of bottle that sprays mist when pressed. How can you spray pesticides without that? Bai Ruoro was secretly delighted. She thought she had caught Xiangyi's loophole. Sister Xiangyi, you don't study agriculture. How can you not know this? Xiangyi looked at her with a complicated expression for a few seconds. Her finger pressed a button on the remote control. Buzz, 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 a cool and brand new drone, carrying a spraying tool, slowly hovered into the air. Bai Ruoro. Asterisk, it wasn't convenient to cut off the internet at home, so it was a bit late. Good night. I'll update everyone once the internet is fixed. Chapter 93. The Netizens in the Stream. What the F*** CK high-tech farming. This is a rich, and beautiful game with paywalls, lighting up smoke. JPG. Oh my god, this drone costs more than 30,000 yuan. My family owns the land to grow vegetables, but I've been reluctant to buy it. I'm so jealous. Haha. By Ruoro is my source of joy today. Every time I see her jumping around, I get slapped in the face. It's so funny. The drone's blades rotated, and under Xiangyi's control, it rose to a suitable height. Do you want to try? Xiangyi looked at her brother. Xiangyu felt a little itchy and picked up a remote control. Xiangyi quietly taught him how to use it. The two's heads were almost touching, imperceptibly exuding a familiar and intimate posture. Bai Ruoro's eyes were red with envy as she squeezed forward. Sister Xiangyi, I'm ignorant. Teach me too. Xiangyi had no interest in her, but she still maintained basic social etiquette and patiently explained the basic operation to her. Shi Sui casually picked a green foxtail and teased Xiao Naofu, who had followed her. Meow, meow, meow. Xiao Naofu hopped around. Every time it was about to reach it, the foxtail would rise a bit higher. It was so angry that its fur was about to explode, and its pink and white paws slapped Shi Sui's calf. The man chuckled lowly, picked up the angry kitten, held it in one hand, and tossed the foxtail to it to play with. Xiao Naofu snorted and turned its face away, ignoring him. Shi Sui scratched its chin and gently negotiated. Be good, okay? Xiao Naofu then mercifully picked up the foxtail with its paws and began to play with it. In the stream, the vase fairy is poisonous, ignoring our Shi Sui Zai again. Why is this man so good at playing with cats? Sundara kittens are the best. I also want to be hugged and coaxed by Shurindi Kak. Want to team up to steal a cat? A kitten that can be sweet and can bark like a dog is a steal. Not long after, another drone appeared in the sky. Xiangyu's operation was successful. Amazing! Xiangyi's eyes curved into crescents. Tisk, what's so difficult about that? It's much easier than playing games. Yu Yu of the Xiang family said in a way that he thought was cool and pretentious. Little did he know that in the eyes of outsiders, he was just an arrogant and childish big boy. Bullet screen. Sameo-gu is really a primary school chicken. Ha ha ha. He was clearly nervous just now, but when the drone took to the sky, he also became arrogant. Bai Ruoro saw how easily the two of them completed the operation and thought it was very simple. She didn't listen carefully just now. After tossing and turning for a long time, the drone still stayed in place, motionless. An idea came to her, and she leaned over to Xiangyu and said meekly, Smog, can you teach me? Although Xiangyu had a fiery temper, he wouldn't flare up for no reason. Out of courtesy, he taught Bai Ruoro a lesson. In the end, Bai Ruoro still did not learn it. Tears welled up in her eyes. I'm sorry. Smog, am I too stupid? Bai Ruoro was showing weakness out of habit. In the past, whenever she showed a pitiful and tearful expression, both men and women would comfort her with a few words. She didn't expect. Xiangyu nodded and said something that could be called a universe-level straight man. You actually know you're stupid? Not bad. You're very self-aware. Bai Ruoro, are you King praising me or insulting me? In an instant, a uniform bullet screen appeared in the stream. Ha ha ha. Chapter 94. I finally know who Bai Lianhua's opponent is. Come on, everyone, type these 4 words onto the public chat. Iron, straight man. Bai Ruoro, don't walk the path of an actress. Be a comedian. I think you have a lot of potential, ha ha ha. Is there a mistake with the tag of this show? Why did you choose the lifestyle category? Choose comedy immediately. Seconded, in addition to being funny, you can also add a gourmet tag. Dear, have you forgotten the tags of being in love, having meat, and being a single man and a single woman? Manual Doghead. The comment section was a sea of joy, but in reality, Bai Ruoro really wanted to cry. It was too difficult, really too difficult. Originally, she had come to ride on the popularity and trample on Xiangyi in a simple mode, but who would have thought it would be the hellish hard mode? Thinking about it carefully, the source of her embarrassment was Sure Sway and Smog's targeting. Xiangyi must have done something. Bai Ruoruo hated her to death in her heart. She looked at Xiangyi with tears in her eyes. Sister Xiangyi, there's something I don't know if I should say. Xiangyu, don't say anything you shouldn't say. Bai Ruoruo. Xiangyi was focused on spraying the medicine and didn't quite hear what she said. She tilted her head. What did you say? Bai Ruoruo organized her words and said in a weak tone, Sister Xiangyi, it's cool to use high-tech farming like this, but you have to know, real farmers don't have these kinds of equipment. I don't mean anything else. I just think this is too unrealistic, and there's no way to promote it. Instead of wasting manpower, material, and financial resources, it's better to donate the money directly to the farmers. Hearing this, Xiang Yu and Sure Sui glanced at each other. Both of them saw indescribable emotions in each other's eyes, but Bai Ruoruo's words were somewhat provocative, and there were quite a few people in the live broadcast room who supported her. That's right, it's a waste of money. How many farmers are still facing the earth and the sky? The vase fairy is really eating minced meat by doing this. Anyway, I really hate the vase fairy's faint sense of superiority. So what if she's rich? What is she without money? Would she know how to farm if she didn't use these mechanized equipment? Of course, there were also people who expressed their confusion. What the hell is this moral kidnapping? Why don't you donate? Did I drink your water or eat your rice? Bai Ruoruo, do you live by the sea? Please, even if this kind of farming method can't be popularized, Sister E is spending her own money. Going to bars and shopping for luxury goods is a hobby. Can't Sister E spend some money on high-tech farming as a hobby? Li Jianyu's heart was in his throat. He frantically gestured to Sure Sui to find a way to save the situation. If it were someone else, there probably wouldn't be such a huge controversy. The main reason was that the impression that Xiangyi gave people before was too if an ordinary person did something wrong, people might tolerate and forgive them. But artists were very special. In this profession, their every move would be infinitely magnified, especially someone like Xiangyi, who had always been slandered by the entire internet to exaggerate. Even if she were to drink a mouthful of water right now, it would be an unforgivable mistake in the eyes of many people. Sure Sui pinched Xiao Naofu's cheeks. Xiao Naofu was so angry that he hugged and gnawed on his face. His slender fingertips were covered in saliva, but the man didn't look embarrassed at all. He still looked elegant and refined. He avoided the camera and mouthed to Li Jianyu, "Trust her." Chapter 95. Li Jianyu was about to go crazy. "Daddy Sure, why are you giving me chicken soup at a time like this? Teacher Xiangyi is a silly girl. How can she deal with a girl like Bai Ruoruo?" If he had known earlier, he wouldn't have agreed to let Bai Ruoruo participate in the variety show. At this time, Li Jianyu still hadn't realized that his impression of Xiangyi had completely changed in just a few days. He was even starting to be a little biased. At the center of attention, Xiangyi's expression was calm as she blinked her long eyelashes. "What you said makes sense." Bai Ruoruo was secretly delighted. "Ha, who told you to show off? You still fell in the end." The next second, Xiangyi slowly said, "But you might have misunderstood something. The purpose of Little Rabbit Farm's existence is not only to harvest agricultural products for sale, but also to cooperate with Nanqing's Crop Breeding Research Institute. The purpose is to explore the planting data of excellent seeds in a variety of environments with different production tools." Bai Ruoruo didn't understand what she was saying at all, but she subconsciously argued back. "But other places don't have such good equipment, and they can't afford it. Besides, how can ordinary people tell if a seed is good or not? They don't understand these high and mighty things." As Bai Ruoruo spoke, she inexplicably felt that something was wrong. It was too quiet. Her body stiffened as she realized that Shui and Xiangyu had no intention of participating in the conversation. It was as if disdain. An invisible panic swept through Bai Ruoro's body. Had she made a mistake? The girl's gentle and quiet voice gently entered her ears. Little Rabbit Farm is only a part of the experimental data. Excellent crop seeds will be compared in mountainous areas, plains, sandy areas, and other places with different soils and climates. The country is based on agriculture, and agriculture is based on planning. Only by cultivating excellent seeds can it truly benefit the farmers. With excellent seeds, we can plant them in large quantities and then provide them to the market. Then, even if the environment is harsh and the tools are not advanced enough, we can still have a relatively high yield. The live stream comments. Although I don't fully understand, I somehow feel that the vase fairy. No, the little vase is quite charming, so it's a collaboration with the Research Institute. Sister Yi's response is too good. Woo-woo, it's reasonable, gentle, and appropriate. I'm shocked. This is the power of knowledge. No wonder she scored 699 on the college entrance exam. Her logic is so clear. Speaking from the relevant industry, the young lady really isn't messing around. In fact, the application of mechanization and drones in agriculture is the general trend, but there is too little experimental data for reference in the country. Perhaps these explorations of Little Rabbit Farm will become a part of the butterfly effect of China's agriculture in the future. The direction of the discussion immediately changed, and many people changed their views of Xiang Yi. Most people's impression of her was rigid, and some were even just following the trend. This change might not be very thorough, but everyone now felt that the little girl gave off a rather comfortable feeling. At the recording studio, Bai Ruoro's expression was about to collapse. She tried her best to smile. So that's how it is. Sister Xiangyi, you know a lot. I should learn more from you in the future. After saying a few polite words, she left with the excuse of going to the washroom. Bitch, bitch. Bai Ruoro turned on the tap and cursed in a low voice. After venting, she walked out of the washroom and saw Xiao Naofu, who was catching butterflies nearby. Her eyes flashed with ruthlessness, and she gave the little cat a fierce kick. Xiao Naofu, who was unguarded against humans, was kicked right in the face. It tumbled down the cobblestone steps several times, and the cat was in a bad state. Chapter 96. Xiao Naofu's icy blue cat eyes widened, and it looked dumbfounded. As a newbie system, it was lucky to meet Xiangyi as its host. Xiangyi was undoubtedly the perfect support for the transmigration world. Every time, she would get the highest score and rewards, and it would also level up as if it had cheated. It could be said that Xiao Naofu hadn't experienced much of the evilness of people's hearts, and its mind was almost that of a 2- or 3-year-old kindergarten child. Meow, meow. Even Shui, that stinky man, didn't dare to bully it like this. It was very angry. Bai Ruoro looked around and confirmed that there were no photographers. She sneered. Scream, keep screaming. It's useless even if you scream yourself hoarse. Xiao Naofu angrily rushed over to scratch her. Bai Ruoro couldn't dodge in time, and several claw marks appeared on her calf. She gritted her teeth. An ugly cat dares to scratch me. You're as cheap as your owner. Xiao Naofu, meow, meow, meow. It was so angry, so angry. She actually called such a handsome hoo-hoo ugly. What was even more infuriating was that she actually scolded Xiangyi, that stupid woman. Only it could be fierce to, no one else could. So, Xiao Naofu showed her what Kung Fu Hoo-hoo was. Bai Ruoro didn't expect the cat to be so fierce. She screamed and quickly fled to where there were people. The moment she saw Xiangyi and the others, Bai Ruoro felt like she had just escaped death. Woo-woo, by Ruoro ran over crying, immediately attracting everyone's attention. Several photographers also aimed their cameras at her. "Why are you crying? There's a dog chasing you," Xiangyu said irritably. He was in the middle of spraying pesticides with his sister and was interrupted by Ruoro. Of course, his temper wasn't good. Ruoro grabbed the hem of her skirt. She timidly glanced at Xiangyi and quickly looked away. Her attempt to cover up only made it more conspicuous. "Xiangyi, what's the matter?" Maybe it was because she had seen too much of Zai Zai's acting skills, but seeing Ruoro's acting now made her feel awkward. Ruoro sobbed. "Sister Xiangyi, your cat bullied me. I didn't provoke it at all, but it scratched me so many times. I heard it was a stray cat." She was crying like a pear blossom in the rain, and there were several obvious claw marks on her legs, which immediately attracted the sympathy of many netizens in the live broadcast room. "So pitiful, being scratched like this. That's why you can't pick up stray cats. Who knows if there are any bacteria or viruses? I'm so annoyed by those who say they want to steal cats. So what if they're cute? Could she make mistakes just because she was cute? Could she scratch people just because she was cute? Previously, Shuringdi was also scratched. This kind of bad-tempered wild cat should be sent to euthanasia as soon as possible." Xiangyi frowned. "Are you sure that Xiao Naofu scratched you for no reason?" Ruoro revealed an incredulous expression. "Are you doubting me?" Xiangyi said, "I'll take you to treat your wound first. As for the rest, I still need to confirm." She believed that Xiao Naofu would not take the initiative to hurt others. At this moment, Xiao Naofu walked over with graceful cat-like steps, tilting its head innocently. Ruoro pointed at it. "That's it. It's really it." Xiao Naofu had a frightened look on its face as it bounced behind Xiangyi's back. It used its pink and white paws to poke at Xiangyi as it cried out in an aggrieved and childish voice. "Meow." It was as if they were saying, asterisk, asterisk, degree, degree, asterisk. Asterisk, that woman is so scary. She scared me. Ruoro felt as if she had been struck by lightning. She never would have thought that this cat was even better at pretending to be pitiful than her. Was this a White Lotus cat? Chapter 97. Ruoro bit her lip, and her eyes turned red. Her eyes were filled with tears, and she looked particularly pitiful, as if she was about to cry. "It's okay. Sister Xiangyi, it's just a cat. I won't argue with it." The bullet screen was filled with comments such as, "Ruoro is so kind. I feel sorry for my sister," and so on. Enough. He picked up Xiao Naofu and gently rubbed the back of its neck. "I don't believe that Xiao Naofu would scratch you for no reason. Don't slander it." Ruoro. Seeing that someone was backing him up, Xiao Naofu's cries became even more coquettish. "Meow, meow, meow." Xiangyu's heart instantly ached. Look, the little kitten was so aggrieved. "Baby, don't be afraid. I'm here." The netizens in the live stream room were speechless. Shocking. Smog actually called a cat a little baby. Ha ha ha. I'm laughing so hard that the voice-activated lights within a 10-mile radius will flash for me. Although Ruoro is a bit pitiful, I really want to laugh. Ruoro's tears fell down. This time, she was really crying from anger. Why would I lie? Can't my injuries be used as evidence? Xiangyu hesitated. Ruoro's injury was indeed a claw mark. Meow, meow. Xiao Naofu meowed even more softly and sweetly in his arms, its little pink paws timidly clutching Xiangyu's collar. Xiangyu lowered his head and met Xiao Naofu's watery blue eyes. Damn. How much had the kitten been bullied to show such an aggrieved expression? Xiangyu's sense of responsibility arose spontaneously. Such a cute and pitiful Xiao Naofu. From now on, he would protect it. Okay, since you mentioned evidence, then show it to prove that Xiao Naofu scratched you. Ruoro choked with sobs. I just went to the bathroom. There were no cameras and no one else there. That means there's no evidence. Xiangyu's eyes were unruly and unruly. Maybe another cat scratched you. There are infinite possibilities. What makes you so sure that it's Xiao Naofu's fault? Bai Ruoruo still wanted to speak, but she was interrupted by Xiangyu, who was eager to protect the cat. Even if Xiao Naofu really scratched you, it's possible that you bullied it, and it was forced to fight back. After all, it's so weak, helpless, and pitiful. Bullying you? I think you're the one bullying it. The soft and milky kitten rubbed its furry little head against Xiangyu's collarbone. It nestled in the man's arms and gave Bai Ruoruo an innocent and pure expression. It seemed to be saying, "Sister, is something the matter? My brother only has eyes and heart for me, Bai Ruoruo." She was about to vomit blood. In the past, she was the only one who pretended to be pitiful. Why was it the other way around today? Anger caused her to gradually lose her reason, and Bai Ruoruo's emotions were on the verge of collapse. It's pretending. Can't you see that it's pretending? This cat was a white lotus, a green tea bitch. How is it pitiful? It's obviously ferocious. The next second, Xiangyu covered Xiao Naofu's ears and raged. Can't you talk nicely? Why are you scolding it? Bai Ruoruo looked like she had eaten a fly. At this moment, Xiangyi's calm and gentle voice sounded. There are no cameras, but there are surveillance cameras on the farm. I can go and pull them up to see what's going on. What? There were surveillance cameras? Bai Ruoruo was dumbfounded and wished she could faint on the spot. Chapter 98. Her plan was that Xiao Naofu couldn't speak, so she could distort the truth. But she didn't expect this cat to fight and pretend to be pitiful. It was simply a drama queen. What was even more unexpected was that there were surveillance cameras on a broken farm. If the netizens found out that she kicked Xiao Naofu first, Bai Ruoruo trembled and began to feel afraid. Actually, there's no need for that. My injury isn't that serious, Bai Ruoruo said stiffly. Seeing her reaction, Xiangyi guessed that there must be something fishy. The girl's expression didn't change as she stared at her with bright eyes. How can that be? This is my family's farm. Everyone who comes is a guest. How can I let a guest be hurt and wronged? Xiangyu hugged Xiao Naofu and shook it as if coaxing a baby to sleep. Yes, check the surveillance cameras. Check it now. Shui lowered her eyelids as a faint smile appeared in her eyes. The little rabbit was quite smart and hit the nail on the head. Bai Ruoruo's face turned pale. How did things turn out like this? The air seemed to freeze as Bai Ruoruo felt a burst of suffocation. The comments in the stream. Oh my God, I can feel Bai Ruoruo's embarrassment even through the screen. Why aren't the people who sympathize with her saying anything? If she's not guilty, why would she react like this? Two Under One Roof's first little white flower and green tea cat competition has been perfectly defeated. Winner, Xiao Naofu. At the critical moment, Li Jianyu couldn't stand it anymore and tried to smooth things over. Bai Ruoruo, did you get a heat stroke? How about I send you back to drink some Xiang Jingqi water first? Bai Ruoruo walked down the ladder and weakly said to the camera, I do feel a little dizzy. Li Jianyu arranged for the staff to send her back. After the live broadcast of spraying pesticides, everyone returned home. Xiangyi took out the cold brewed tea she had prepared in advance from the fridge. The method of making it was very simple. Soak the oolong tea in mineral water and put it in the fridge. She also pickled white peach jam, poured a cup of cold brewed tea, and stirred it evenly. It didn't have the bitter taste of tea leaves, only a faint tea fragrance mixed with sweet jam. It tasted many times better than the drinks outside. Xiangyu gulped down a glass of wine and poured himself another. Drink slowly, Xiangyi reminded him in a low voice. This is very cold. Whoosh, Xiang Yu's ears twitched, and he gripped his cup tightly in excitement. My sister cares about me. He forced himself to remain calm, and said coldly, Women are so long-winded. Xiangyi, this was definitely fourth brother's childish style. She looked at the time. It was almost dinner time. Xiangyi asked, Are we having poached fish fillets tonight? Doesn't matter. Egg fried rice. I already said it doesn't matter. Having said that, Xiang Yu's heart was already blooming with joy. Sister, good. By the way, where's Senior Sure? Xiang Yi was about to ask her Zai what she wanted to eat. Brother Sure? I think he went back to his room. Xiang Yi didn't think much of it, and went to knock on his door. Senior, what do you want to eat for dinner? Creak. The door was quickly pulled open. However, the scene in front of her made her freeze in place. Sure Sui had probably just taken a shower, as he was only wearing a pair of black casual pants. He was drying his hair, with a towel in one hand. The water droplets slid down to his clear Adam's apple, then to his defined abdominal muscles, and his sinuous Apollo's belt. Everything was visible at a glance. Xiangyi, the netizens in the live stream instantly went crazy. Oh, Brother Sure, you don't treat us as outsiders. Chapter 99. Ahem. Xiangyi coughed in shock. She immediately turned around and blocked the cameraman's camera for Sure Sui. You didn't manage to capture it, did you? Li Jianyu held back his laughter. Yes, I did. It was just a few seconds. The netizens probably couldn't see it, right? The girl closed her eyes in despair, feeling extremely vexed. Little did she know that the man was putting on his shirt before opening the door. When he heard her voice, the corners of his lips curled up slightly, and he casually threw his shirt aside. The comments in the live stream. Xiangyi, we saw it. We saw everything. Well done, little vase. Keep up the good work next time. I really get the charm of a mature man. His waist and abs. They're really not something that little fresh meat can compare to. Why don't we turn off the live stream for a while and let the teachers rest? Li Jianyu saw that the girl's ears were so red that they were about to bleed. He was worried that the netizens would spout nonsense again if the live stream continued. TSK, but Daddy Sure's figure is really so tempting amidst the wailing of the netizens. The live stream equipment was turned off. The staff also went to rest. Senior, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Xiangyi explained softly, so nervous that she didn't know where to put her hands. She pinched her fingers and rubbed the corner of her shirt. I just came to ask you what you want to eat. Oh, I see. The man dragged his words lazily and chuckled. His voice was low and hoarse. Can I order whatever I want? Xiangyi, yes, she wanted to make up for it, but when she heard Sure Sui's words, she wished she could arrange a Manchu Han imperial banquet for him. Then, Tutu? As he wished, he saw the girl's milky white ears dyed with an even brighter shade of crimson. The smile in Sure Sui's eyes deepened, and he named a list of dishes. Spicy rabbit head, cold rabbit, rabbit stew. Can you make it? Xiangyi, I can, but Senior, you can't eat spicy food, right? Sure Sui raised his eyebrows and said, I can. Oh, then let's eat the rabbit cold. We won't be able to finish it if you make too much. I'll make a mild, spicy one and a spicy one. After saying that, Xiangyi couldn't wait to go to the kitchen, but a large hand grabbed her collar. Subconsciously, Xiangyi almost wanted to throw her over her shoulder. But when she realized that it was Sure Sui, she stopped and turned around in confusion. In a split second, she met Sure Sui's deep eyes, which seemed to be smiling yet not smiling. The man's hair was all pulled back, and his eyebrows and eyes were even more prominent. He had beautiful peach blossom eyes, and his eyelashes were even longer than a girl's. When he smiled, he looked affectionate and seductive. Xiangyi tried her best not to look below his collarbone, but there was a huge difference in height between them. She could only raise her small face and bite her lip nervously. "You dropped your microphone." Sure Sui's voice was gentle, almost imperceptible. His slender fingers set up the microphone for Xiangyi, and he also carefully tidied up the messy wires for her. The two of them were so close that Xiangyi could even feel the moisture on his body. It was inexplicably stuffy. She looked away and even began to avoid looking at him. "Thank you." "You're welcome. Then I'll go and cook." Xiangyi felt that it was more polite to look at his face when greeting him. She turned her small face, but Sure Sui had lowered his head. As she moved, her lips gently brushed against his thin and obvious collarbone. The girl's body froze. A messy and unexpected ambiguity spread. Chapter 100. Xiangyi's mind was completely silent and blank. After a full 10 seconds, she came to her senses. She took a few steps back and almost fell because she was in such a hurry. I'm sorry." The girl stammered. Although she had traveled through many worlds, she had always been someone's assistant. She had never walked the emotional line and had no experience in dealing with this kind of situation. The blush spread from her ears to her slender swan neck. "I didn't do it on purpose. It was an accident." "Ah, how did I kiss him? How can I kiss my Zai?" Sure Sui blinked. He leaned against the wall lazily, obviously in a relaxed and leisurely posture, but his expression was somewhat innocent. When the movie king acted as a naive and sweet person, he was more skillful and natural than a certain kitten. Xiangyi wanted to slip away and was about to escape, but she saw the man lowered his eyebrows, his eyelashes forming a faint shadow on his cold and handsome face. His voice was hoarse and tinged with grievance. "You kissed me." This shouldn't be considered a kiss. The girl swallowed her saliva and said cautiously. The man acted as if he didn't hear, his clear and clean voice faintly resentful. "No girl has ever kissed me." Xiangyi remembered that when he had just debuted, he had been criticized by the industry for refusing to act in emotional scenes. They said that he was not dedicated enough as an actor. Of course, Sure Sui later used his own acting skills to shut all those who questioned him. Xiangyi thought that he had never acted in emotional scenes on the screen, but he should have done it in real life. After all, he was 27 years old. It was normal for a normal man to have a few love experiences at this age. She suddenly felt a strong sense of guilt. Xiangyi stuttered for a long time, but in the end, she still apologized. "I'm sorry." The man raised his head and forced a smile. "It's nothing. You don't have to take it to heart. It was just an accident. I'm also at fault." The more he said this, the more Xiangyi blamed herself. How could she not take it to heart? She had kissed Zai's collarbone. Zai didn't do anything wrong. Not at all. "It's all my fault." Xiangyi had yet to realize that she had successfully fallen into the trap of a certain black and white actor. "Senior, if there's anything you want to eat in the future, just tell me. I'll definitely make it for you." Sure Sui looked down at him, her eyes gentle and innocent. "Really? Is this compensation? This is what I should do." Xiangyi laughed dryly. "Then I'll go cook." This time, Sure Sui didn't stop her. Instead, he stared at the girl's slender back as she entered the kitchen. Only then did the corners of his mouth curl up. It was quite interesting to play with children. In the kitchen, Xiangyi was preparing the ingredients. He sliced the fish cleanly and neatly. After removing the fish bones, the thin fish fillet glowed with a crystal-clear and moist feeling. Discordant cries suddenly fell upon her ears. "Where's Xiangyi? Where was she? I want to see her." Now, immediately, Xiangyi frowned slightly, wiped her hands, and walked out of the kitchen. The living room was a mess at this moment. Xiao Yang was dressed in a formal suit and his hair was combed into a shiny back. He looked like he had come from a banquet. To be fair, his facial features were considered handsome. Dressed like this, he looked like a rich young master. When he saw Xiangyi, Xiao Yang, who had been babbling nonstop, suddenly shut up and stared straight at her. Why did this woman look like she had plastic surgery? She was too beautiful. Why don't I reluctantly reconcile with her? Chapter 101, recalling the delicacies Xiangyi had made during the live broadcast, and then looking at her face that was still beautiful without makeup, Xiao Yang's heart began to waver. Bai Ruoro heard the commotion and came out of the room. Seeing Xiao Yang looking at Xiangyi with infatuation, her heart thumped. She quickly stepped forward and grabbed his arm, calling softly, "Brother Xiao Yang." Xiao Yang came back to his senses and coughed. "Ruoro, I heard you were injured, so I came to see you. Brother, you're so busy, yet you still took the time to see me. Isn't it too hard?" Bai Ruoro said gently. She knew Xiao Yang liked this the most. But today, Xiao Yang didn't greet her like he usually did. Instead, he looked at Xiangyi. "Come here. I have something to say to you." Xiangyi raised an eyebrow. Wasn't the money from last time enough? It would have been better if she didn't mention it. Now that she did, Xiao Yang suddenly remembered the 2 million from that day. This woman was simply humiliating him. "Who cares about your stinky money?" Xiao Yang roared. "Who the F***CK are you yelling at? Try saying another word." Xiang Yu opened his mouth as fiercely as a bandit. Xiao Yang didn't know about his relationship with Xiangyi and said with a sense of superiority, "I'm talking to my girlfriend. It's none of your business." Bai Ruoruo whispered, "It's an ex-girlfriend." Shi Sui, who was sitting on the sofa, narrowed her eyes slightly. Xiang Yu looked at his sister with an expression of disbelief. Even Xiang Yi could guess what he was thinking. "Look at your eyes. How did you find such a thing as your boyfriend?" She was slightly embarrassed. Although this boyfriend was the one who had taken over her body, she was the one who took the blame. Sighing, Xiangyi asked, "If you have something to say, just say it." "Xiao Yang, apologize to Ruoro. Your cat bullied her, and you bullied her. I'm here to support Ruoro." Xiangyi slowly typed out a question mark. For a moment, she didn't know who was more brainless, him or the one who had taken over her body. She didn't know who was the scumbag between the two. Xiangyi, who had transmigrated through countless worlds, naturally wouldn't get angry over such a trivial matter. She lazily crossed her arms and sat on the sofa, crossing her slender white legs. She lightly clicked her tongue and said, "Okay, tell me, how did I bully her?" Xiao Yang was speechless. He suddenly felt that Xiangyi's sitting posture was a big shot. He obviously liked the delicate and innocent type, but when he saw Xiangyi's face, his heart started to beat wildly. He calmed himself down and said confidently, "Don't think that I don't know that you're just jealous that Ruo and I are together. That's why you deliberately targeted her. You embarrassed her in front of so many people during the live broadcast. That's equivalent to slapping my face. You have to sincerely apologize." Xiangyi propped her elbow on the armrest and held her small face with one hand. Her eyebrows were slightly curved. "What if I don't apologize?" The girl's bright smile was more dazzling than the sea of flowers outside the floor-to-ceiling window. Xiao Yang's heart was like fireworks, exploding nonstop. He swallowed his saliva and unconsciously lost his momentum. "It's fine if you don't apologize. I don't think you did it on purpose." By Ruoruo, she came to find Xiao Yang to settle accounts with Xiangyi. According to Xiangyi's personality in the past, she would definitely lose her temper again. She didn't know that the more she did, the more Xiao Yang hated her. But today, Xiangyi was so arrogant. Why was Xiao Yang so mesmerized? Where did this woman go to sign up for a vixen training course? Chapter 102. Puffed. Xiangyi couldn't help but laugh out loud. She hooked her finger at him. Come here. The girl's smile was sweet and beautiful, and Xiao Yang's heartbeat began to accelerate again. What's going on? Is this the feeling of being in love? Brother Xiao Yang. Bai Ruoruo panicked and weakly leaned against him. Xiao Yang didn't care about her at all and trotted forward to Xiangyi. Bai Ruoruo, who almost missed him. Xiao Yang cleared his throat and said condescendingly, If you want to get back together, I can consider giving you a chance. F***CK. Xiang Yu exploded on the spot. Who do you think you are to treat her like this? Although he didn't like this man, if his sister really liked him, he could endure it. But he dared to treat her sister badly? Endure? Endure my ass. I can't endure it. Xiangyi raised her hand and motioned for him to be quiet. She smiled at Xiao Yang. I see that you're so handsome, tall, and have a good personality. In a few words, Xiao Yang was praised to the heavens. He thought to himself, this woman must love me to death, but then he heard a sweet and gentle inquiry. Then, do you know how to kill rabbits? Do you know how to skin them? Do you know how to gut them? Xiao Yang. Xiang Yu. Bai Ruoruo. Not far away, Shi Sui seemed to understand something. Her lips hooked up. You can't even do that. TSK. Xiao Yang couldn't stand this provocation and shouted, Who said I can't? Isn't it just killing rabbits? Half an hour later, Xiao Yang was vomiting in the bathroom. Fortunately, the rabbits were killed, and Xiangyi had Xiao Yang wash the meat clean. Her zodiac was rabbit, and her nickname was Tutu. She usually didn't kill them herself, but Tutu was naturally freshly killed to taste delicious. So Xiao Yang, a tool that came to her door, was a waste not to use him just then. The live broadcast began. Li Jianyu personally brought old Li over to film Xiangyi cooking. He had already accepted the setting of cooking when it was time. The netizens in the live stream flooded in, and their enthusiasm was amazing. Ah, Tutu is so cute. You died so happily, cough so pitiful. Little Vase's knife skills are amazing. How can the fish fillet be so thin? Sister E, slow down. I'll bring my bowl over first. Ha! The person in front is obviously inexperienced. Dinner, fruits, and snacks have already been prepared. It's time for the mukbang. The rabbit meat was cut into small pieces so that it would be easier for the flavor to enter. After adding cooking wine, green pepper, star anise, chives, and sliced ginger to marinate, Xiangyi began to prepare another poached fish fillet. She placed the thinly sliced fish fillets into boiling water until they were half-cooked, then placed them into a soup bowl covered with a layer of cooked bean sprouts, tofu, and shredded konjac. She heated up the oil, then added pepper, chili, and other spices to fry them until they were fragrant. Finally, she poured the hot oil over the ingredients. The temperature of the oil was extremely high, and it would cook the ingredients a second time, creating a unique and spicy taste. At the same time, the rabbit meat was almost done marinating. She added a large amount of rapeseed oil and quickly stir-fried it. Then, she added small pieces of dried chili and handmade chili powder, supplemented with white sugar, MSG, balsamic vinegar, and other spices to slowly reduce the flavor. When it was placed on a plate, there was even a sizzling sound. Both dishes were spicy. The chili was bright red, the fish was white, and the rabbit meat was golden yellow. It was very visually pleasing. Gulp. Li Jianyu and the others began to gulp. Xiao Yang, who was in the living room, couldn't sit still. How can it be so fragrant? I must eat 2 bowls of rice later. Chapter 103. In the kitchen, Xiang Yi cooked another plate of egg-fried rice and 2 vegetarian dishes. When she was done, she poked her head out of the kitchen. The food is ready. Come and serve it. Xiao Yang was the first to rush over. I'll do it. I'll do it. He quickly began to roll up his sleeves, completely forgetting the purpose of his visit. There was only one thought in his mind. The comments in the stream. Where did this person come from? He's a bit good-looking, but why is he so oily at such a young age? Isn't this by Ruoro's boyfriend? He seems to be a rich young master from a wealthy family, so he's here to accompany by Ruoro. He seems quite warm when Xiaoyang took the initiative to serve all the dishes, and everyone was about to eat. They suddenly heard Xiang Yi's surprised voice. Mr. Xiao, aren't you leaving? Xiaoyang froze. The girl blinked innocently. I didn't say I wanted you to stay for dinner. Xiaoyang. And Miss Bai, tonight's dishes are high in calories and not suitable for someone like you who's on a diet. Here, I've prepared your diet meal. Xiang Yi slowly pushed over a plate of boiled broccoli and 2 egg whites. By Ruoro. The people who hated Xiang Yi in the comments were extremely excited, thinking they had caught her in the act. What kind of hospitality is this? She's already finished cooking, and she's chasing her away? I can't stand you guys calling her a little vase. Is she worthy? She's just an actress who relies on her face to make a living. The vase fairy was probably the kind of person who bullied others when she was a student. Look at how much she's targeting by Ruoro. She won't even let her eat. That's too much. Xiaoyang's face alternated between green and white. The aroma of the delicious dishes on the table rushed to his nose, but his heart was filled with regret. It was all his fault. He had hurt Xiang Yi's heart. His eyes were filled with pain. Xiang Yi, I know I was wrong. Can you forgive me? Xiang Yi called Shi Sui and Xiang Yu to eat first and asked with a smile, What did you do wrong? When Xiaoyang saw her smile, his soul almost left his body. I shouldn't have cheated on you. I shouldn't have been with Bai Ruoro and hurt your heart. Bai Ruoro's face instantly turned pale. She grabbed Xiaoyang's arm. Brother Xiaoyang, don't joke around. Xiaoyang pushed her away and said sternly, It's all your fault. If you hadn't seduced me, would I have betrayed Xiang Yi? You should sincerely apologize to Xiang Yi for ruining our relationship. Xiang Yi, very well, it has been confirmed that he is a brainless person. Bai Ruoro burst into tears. This was a live broadcast. Xiaoyang's words would ruin her. In the live stream, the audience was dumbfounded. F***CK? So Xiaoyang dated the vase fairy and cheated on Bai Ruoro? Ugh, I thought he was a nice guy, but I didn't expect him to be such a scumbag. He said such things on the live stream. Not only did he morally kidnap Xiang Yi, but he also ruthlessly ruined Bai Ruoro. It's too scary. If I met a man like him, I would die from anger. On the side, Xiang Yi was suddenly enraged. Why don't you take a look in the mirror? How dare you cheat on her? Xiaoyang was moved by his heartfelt confession. He looked at Xiang Yi expectantly. A prodigal son turning over a new leaf is more precious than gold. Baby, can you give me a chance? Xiang Yu said angrily, Are you worthy of calling her baby? Who do you think you are? Xiaoyang said unhappily, And who are you? He had already insulted him twice today. It was as if he had eaten a firecracker. Xiang Yu slammed the table, and the dishes on the table shook, splashing out bits and pieces of soup. Who am I? I'm her brother. Brother. Chapter 104. As the young esports god's voice fell, the scene fell silent, and the comments in the live stream seemed to have frozen. 1 second, 2 seconds. Boom! The netizens in the live stream exploded. What the F***CK? Brother. Smog and the vase fairy are siblings. In reality, Xiaoyang was stunned for a few seconds, and his face changed faster than flipping through a book. He smiled apologetically. So it's my brother-in-law. Sorry for the disrespect. Let me toast you, brother-in-law. Brother-in-law was how Nanqing addressed his wife's brother. Xiang Yu started to trash talk as soon as he heard that. Do you think you're making keys? Do you deserve it? What do you deserve? Xiangyi covered his mouth in time and said, "Seriously, brother will be banned from the live stream if he swears." Sensing his anger, the girl coaxed softly, "Brother, don't pay attention to him. He's not worth your anger." The esports god, who had been fuming just now, calmed down in a second and looked at the girl in front of him in disbelief. "Ha! My sister called me brother. She even called him twice. Twice." He calmed down and said in what he thought was a cold voice, "Tell him to get lost." Little did he know that the corners of his mouth were about to reach his ears. Xiaoyang was still thinking about the food and hurriedly said, "Even if we don't get back together, at least let me eat a bowl of rice. I killed a rabbit. You still want to eat my sister's cooking? You don't deserve it." Xiangyu was irritable again, and he zipped up his sweatshirt, looking like he was about to fight. Xiangyi calmly pressed on a certain acupuncture point on his arm. Xiangyu didn't know why, but he suddenly felt like he couldn't exert any strength. He looked at Xiangyi in confusion, and the girl returned him a gentle and warm smile. "Brother, you're right. He doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve my cooking, and he doesn't deserve your hands." She gestured in the direction of the garden. The next second, a few bodyguards dressed in black appeared out of nowhere and carried Xiaoyang out of the room. They did not even bother to say a single word. "Xiaoyang! Hey, let go of me! I order you to let go of me. Do you hear me? Xiangyi, how can you do this to me? I haven't even had a bite of rice yet." The live stream was instantly filled with laughter. "This scumbag doesn't look very smart. He's still thinking about food at a time like this. Ha ha! This means that our sister Yi's cooking is really good. Awesome! How satisfying! You have to be quick, accurate, and ruthless when dealing with scumbags. Don't give him a chance to disgust you." She actually has bodyguards. Sorry, I underestimated the little vase's family background. Oarzi, Xiaoyang was thrown out of the manor. The entire world fell silent. The only person who felt like she was sitting on pins and needles was Bairuoro. Her eyes were shockingly red, and her lips moved as if she wanted to say something, but not a single syllable came out. The others, on the other hand, were eating very happily. The cold-eating rabbit was crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. The oil flowed out with every bite, and the spicy taste permeated every bit of the meat. Xiangyi made 2 plates, one of which was spicy and suitable for Xiangyu. He ate until he was sweating profusely. The other plate was slightly spicy and was for sure Sui. The man slowly tasted it, his noble and handsome appearance as if he was tasting a Michelin restaurant. The boiled fish fillet was smooth and tender, and it melted in the mouth. The bean sprouts, shredded konjac, and other vegetables inside were blanched in hot oil and chili, melting the freshness of the fish. With each bite of meat and vegetables, the wonderful taste slowly spread. Her taste buds felt like they would explode in the next second, constantly secreting saliva. Actually, I was also deceived by Xiaoyang. After holding it in for a long time, Bai Ruo finally managed to squeeze out this sentence. Xiangyi didn't even raise her eyes as she lightly said, "I won't pursue this matter. However, I checked the surveillance footage, and it was you who kicked Xiao Naofu first." Bai Ruoro's back went cold, and she immediately felt extremely wronged. Didn't she just kick that stray cat? Why was she so calculative? Chapter 105. The comments section of the live stream once again went into a frenzy. Bai Ruoro kicked Xiao Naofu? Is she crazy? I say, Xiao Naofu looks so obedient. How could it scratch someone for no reason? Why didn't the people who were shouting about euthanizing Xiao Naofu in the afternoon come out to dance? Their faces must have been smashed to smithereens. HHHH. Actually, Bai Ruoro is also... Forget it. I can't wash it off. I'm no longer a fan. A mistress abusing a cat. Even if I'm retarded, I'll still be her fan. Xiang Yu rubbed Xiao Naofu with heartache. Xiao Naofu was possessed by a coquettish spirit as it nestled in his arms. It doesn't hurt, it doesn't hurt. Let's eat something delicious later, okay? Bai Ruoro was extremely aggrieved as she complained, but it still scratched me. It's clearly your cat's fault. Xiangyi frowned. I think you've got the cause and effect wrong. You kicked Xiao Naofu first, which was why it acted in self-defense. Bai Ruoro hated her to death. It was just a cat. How could it be compared to a human? Of course, she could kick Xiao Naofu, but it was wrong for it to scratch her. I understand, so I'm not even as good as a cat. Bai Ruoro was on the verge of tears. Her eyes were red as she looked at Shi Sui. There was still a glimmer of hope in her heart. No matter what, she was still in the same company as Shi Sui. As someone who took care of his juniors, he wouldn't leave her alone, right? The man raised his eyes and met her gaze. His eyes were like the cold moonlight on the horizon. His thin lips parted slightly as he indifferently said, "Apologize." Bai Ruoro felt as if she had been struck by lightning. Apologize? To Xiao Naofu? That was ridiculous. It's just a cat. Bai Ruoro had just said this when she heard Shi Sui ask coldly, "You only kicked the cat?" That voice was wrapped in an invisible and powerful aura that enveloped Bai Ruoro. She trembled slightly as she remembered the words she had said to Xiangyi, but didn't surveillance cameras generally not have sound capture? The next second, she heard Shi Sui calmly say, "Little rabbit farm surveillance cameras are equipped with sound capture." In other words, the cameras had sound. Bai Ruoro's eyes widened in horror. In the live stream, oh my God, there's solid evidence. So it's not just cat abuse. Did he do anything else? He's probably scolding someone, and it's very likely that he's scolding Sister E. Otherwise, Shi Ingdi wouldn't be so angry. Fan of the vase fairy in front. Get lost. Our Shi Ingdi won't look at your girl, okay? To be honest, it's so insulting to couple Miss Xiang and Shi Sui together. Shi Sui is a true best actor, but what does Miss Xiang have? The acting skills of pouting and glaring, or the singing skills of angering 10 sound reviewers to death? Bai Ruoro knew that there was no chance of a comeback. She could only harden her heart and cut off all means of retreat. Okay, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. As she spoke, tears streamed down her face, as if she had been greatly wronged. I'll go, okay? I don't want to be an eyesore to you. She paused for a few seconds, but the surroundings were silent. Something awkward happened. No one asked her to stay, including all the staff of Two Under One Roof. Xiangyi would make afternoon tea or sugar water for everyone every day, and Xiao Naofu was so cute. They might not have as much influence as Bai Ruoro as an artist, but they had the heart. Finally, Li Jianyu spoke. "Okay, take care. We won't see you out." Bai Ruoro left stiffly. The moment she walked out the door, she burst into tears. This time, her mentality had completely collapsed. Chapter 106. As soon as Bai Ruoro left, the atmosphere at the dinner table suddenly became very harmonious. Xiangyu's slender white fingers rubbed Xiao Naofu's round belly as he secretly glanced at Xiangyi. Sensing his gaze, Xiangyi blinked and asked, "What's wrong, big bro?" "Ow. Did you hear that? Little sis calls me big bro so sweetly." He pretended to be cold and arrogant like a big boss. "Go, get big bro a bowl of rice." If this had happened in the Xiang family in the past, if he dared to order Xiangyi around like this, the family's sister-spoiling demons would have broken his legs. But today's Xiangyu was Nyanhilu's Xiangyu. 2 words, inflated. Xiangyi smiled, indulging his childishness and willfulness as she obediently went to get him a bowl of egg-fried rice. Xiang, you couldn't suppress the corners of his mouth. After tasting a mouthful of egg-fried rice, his eyes lit up and he instantly buried his face in it. He especially liked to eat rice. Xiangyi's egg fried rice was soft and chewy. In addition to egg, she also added shrimp, ham, and peas. Not only was it rich in color, but it also had a rich texture. The live comments. Smog is so childish. Ha ha ha, but I think he's so cute. Sameo Go, a heartless eating machine. Did anyone notice that the little vase has never served Shurindi a bowl of rice? Now that you mention it, it's true. Shurindi has always served himself. What's with the vase fairy's attitude? Did you guys forget the hot post about the little vase snubbing Shurindi? SSJJ, Shursway's sister, short for Shursway's fans, are still being stubborn, but it's obvious that your Shurindi took the initiative to stick close to the little vase. Even if the little vase wasn't cold to him, she was still very polite and distant, okay? The netizens each brought their own magnifying glasses, and some even seemed to have brought a microscope. Soon, a post on the well-known gossip forum, Melon, went viral. Title: Every day, I find candy in the glass shards of the untimely CP CAC. Main post content: Greetings, Melon friends. I'm the OP of the previous post, taking stock of the famous scenes where Shurindi was neglected. After watching the live broadcast of Two Under One Roof for 2 days, she had replayed countless clips of Shurindi and Sister E in the same frame. To be honest, the two of them were too evasive. They were so polite that it was as if they were in an etiquette class. They were constantly saying thank you for your hard work. Sister E had been calling Shurindi Sr. up until now. The more polite she was, the more it meant that there wasn't much progress in their relationship. It was even possible that they were just being polite on the surface for participating in the show. But the sugar in the glass shards was really sweet. Sister E gave Shurindi a little flower. Shurindi put on glasses for Sister E. The scene of the two of them cooking together in the kitchen, living a peaceful and peaceful life. There was also Sister E on the swing. His gentle gaze beside her could make me kowtow 100 times. I recommend watching it repeatedly. Just now, for Sister E, he tore the little white flower apart. Okay, it's an exaggeration to say that he tore it apart, but he did speak up for Sister E. I don't care. I'm just protecting Sister E. As a CP fan, I don't ask for anything else. I just want Sister E and Shurindi to be a little bit better. Online beautiful. JPG. As soon as the post was posted, it attracted the dissatisfaction of Shursway's sisters. Opie, have you watched too many idol dramas? What's wrong with a lovey-dovey person like you? Haha, the Opie might as well say that Shursway is licking the vase fairy's boots. You must have received a lot of PR fees, right? He's hopeless. Take him away. Next. I'll say it again. It's impossible between Shursway and the vase fairy. Chapter 107. At the same time, another OP had also posted a post. Title: I'm shocked. When I was writing a paper, I found an SCI paper by a certain female celebrity. The main post: OP is a graduate student in agriculture, majoring in resource utilization and plant protection. Recently, I've been going bald over my thesis every day. This afternoon, I found an amazing article. Firstly, it's really well written, and secondly, it has great reference value for my thesis. At that time, my roommate happened to be watching Two Under One Roof to relieve stress and overheard Xiangyi's speech about how agriculture is the foundation of the country and agriculture is the priority. At that time, I thought that the celebrities in the entertainment industry were quite good. Then I accidentally saw that the name of the paper was also Xiangyi. At that time, I thought that it might be someone else with the same name. Then I looked at the school, which was one of the top 2 universities in the country. Out of curiosity, I couldn't help but check it out. Now, the case has finally been solved. That's right, the paper was really written by that female celebrity, Xiangyi. I also found the topics she worked on during her undergraduate studies. How should I put it? She's at a level that I can't reach. Perhaps many people don't know much about SCI papers, but I'll give you the most common example. Publishing an article is no less significant than winning a gold medal in an international sports competition. The OP is in a trance now. Female celebrities in the entertainment industry are so amazing these days. I feel like I don't deserve to be in the scientific research field anymore. Underscore, smiley face. Angle. Underscore, the first few dozen replies to the post were all question marks. Are you kidding me? You're telling me that Vase Fairy can publish an SCI paper? I'm dying of laughter. You're just bragging, aren't you? If you're so amazing, why did you enter the entertainment industry? The OP didn't debate with the netizens. Instead, he posted a link to the paper. The netizens opened the link to see that it was an all-English website. The terminology used in the article was very professional, but the name of the paper, it was really Xiangyi. The Melon Forum was in an uproar, and countless posts popped up like mushrooms after a rain. The sensation level was even greater than that of a certain popular male idol's official relationship announcement not long ago. At the Xiang family's manor, the live broadcast was still ongoing. When they were almost done eating, Xiangyi got up and was about to wash the dishes when she heard a yell from the ground. Put it down. The girl shuddered in shock. Ahem. Xiangyu cleared his throat uncomfortably. Sit here obediently. We don't have the rule of letting girls do the dishes. Xiangyi's heart slightly moved. She vaguely felt that her brother's attitude towards her had changed. Was he finally willing to accept her again? The girl stared at Xiangyu in a daze, her eyes hazy with a trace of moisture. She was not a weak person. On the contrary, when she was about to cross worlds to complete her mission, she was very strong and determined. But perhaps everyone had a soft spot in their hearts. That was a person's weak spot, and also a person's reverse scale. Family was Xiangyi's biggest weakness. Because she had been treated with gentleness and love, she was able to persevere through countless times of despair. She moved her face away and said in a nasal voice, "Brother, you're so nice." Xiangyu was overjoyed by the compliment and whistled as he went to wash the dishes. The trolls appeared again. "I can't stand it. The Vase Fairy is so lazy. There are so many bowls, and you're letting your brother do it alone? Can an esports player do something as menial as washing the dishes? She's too delicate. Isn't it just washing a few bowls? What's wrong with girls doing more work? She doesn't know how to be considerate at all." Chapter 108. However, they had underestimated the number of Xiangyi's fans. As soon as these comments were posted, they were immediately rebutted. Some were irritable and angry. Damn it! Who's been cooking for the past 2 days? Doesn't it take much effort to cook? You guys are the only ones with mouths. Get lost. Some yin-yang masters were infuriating. It can't be helped. She just has her brother doting on her. Hee. What else can some people do other than be jealous? There were also the largest number of foodie fans. She cooks so well. Aren't you guys having fun watching her cooking as if it's a mukbang? You're the best at finding fault in everything you do, right? The haters were dumbfounded. Since when did the Vase Fairy have so many fans? What was even more embarrassing was Xiangyu carried the bowls, chopsticks, and plates to the kitchen. Then calmly and pretentiously, he put them into the dishwasher. The netizens were speechless. "Master, I'm enlightened. No wonder the production team didn't film the scene of the dishwashing. This is a face-slapping variety show, right? They specialize in slapping the haters. If you don't behave, I'll slap your face until it's swollen." Ha 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 ha. I'm imagining the scene of the little vase washing the dishes like Cinderella. Sorry to disturb you. You're indeed a rich and beautiful lady. Hey, this dishwasher is not bad. Does anyone know what brand it is? It just so happens that my new house is renovating, and I'm about to install a dishwasher. On this day, the sales of a certain dishwasher brand's online store suddenly skyrocketed. When the owner received the news, he was still a little confused. His dishwasher was made in China. It was of good quality and durable. Unfortunately, there had been no market for it in the country, and its sales were basically monopolized by several large imported brands. He had also thought about doing advertising, but after asking around, he realized that even an internet celebrity's Weibo advertisement could cost a six-figure sum, not to mention TV commercials and agent fees for live streaming. Hence, the matter of advertising was put on hold. Fortunately, because of the good reputation of the product, he had accumulated some fans, and his online store's business was doing well. However, it was only doing well. However, today's sales were several times higher than last month's. After finding out the reason, the boss was moved and excited. He trembled as he typed on his phone for a long time. On his Weibo account, which only had less than 2,000 followers, he sent a thank you letter to Two Under One Roof and Xiangyi, Zijingjing dishwasher. Thank you so much, Two Under One Roof v Xiangyi V's publicity. Although it's not easy to produce local products should be self-reliant. Although we really want to sponsor your program, we are unfortunately short on funds. We would like to express our gratitude to your program and Miss Xiangyi. On behalf of the Clean and Dishwasher Company, we would also like to donate 100,000 yuan to charity and bear the social responsibility that a company should have. It was a screenshot of a donation. Usually, no one would care about the Weibo posts made by this account. However, because of the keywords Two Under One Roof and Xiangyi, the number of views increased rapidly, and many netizens also reposted it. I just placed an order. I hope the quality won't disappoint me. The boss is so simple. Directly donating money is too practical. Haha, Xiangyi, this female celebrity, is really amazing. On the first day of the live stream, she was selling clothes and hair clips, and now she's selling dishwasher products. Naive. In the past 2 days, Two Under One Roof has sold out like hotcakes in Taobao. There's also the takeout industry. Basically, whatever Sister E makes, the takeout products become popular. Feel the sales volume of our cold rabbit and poached fish slices. That netizen posted 2 pictures of the takeout platform. The sales volume of 999 plus was simply terrifying. Can one have 99 plus comments? For all, good night. Chapter 109. In addition to the netizens who were shocked by Xiangyi's ability to promote goods, many brands also began to pay more or less attention to Xiangyi. That night, countless netizens were like squid in a melon field, jumping up and down to surf the internet. The next day, the sun rose from the east, and the morning light was faint. Li Jianyu got up early and was ready to go for a jog. Yesterday, Two Under One Roof ranked first among the variety shows in terms of viewership. Even though the fans of the various guests of Heartbeat were crazy, it was still difficult to reverse the decline. Previously, the senior executives of Muyao TV contacted him one after another to ask him to return. Li Jianyu rejected them all. The peach leaves are sharp, and the willow leaves cover the sky. While humming a tune, he inadvertently saw Xiangyi in the garden. The girl was dressed in a pink and white sportswear and had no makeup on, but she was still as beautiful as ever. However, is she practicing Taiji fist? Li Jianyu scratched his head and couldn't stop the question marks from popping out. I feel that teacher Xiangyi has health habits that don't match her age. The girl's movements were soft and casual, and there was an inexplicable light rhythm to her movements. Li Jianyu couldn't help but be fascinated by her. Director Li, good morning. Xiangyi saw him and took the initiative to greet him. Good morning, teacher Xiangyi. Li Jianyu couldn't help but gossip. Are you practicing kung fu? Xiangyi smiled. I'm just exercising to strengthen my body. Li Jianyu let out a long, Oh, thinking that it made sense. How could a young girl know kung fu? It was probably just a hobby. He stretched his muscles and ran around the manor. When he came back, he habitually glanced at Xiangyi, only to find that she's practicing swordsmanship. Li Jianyu almost fell flat on his face. His pupils were dilated. The fair and delicate girl was holding a quaint long sword. Her swordsmanship was similar to Taiji fist, which had the characteristics of being both in form and spirit. It was also ethereal and elegant, with an emphasis on intent rather than gravity. With a light flick of her wrist, she made a beautiful sword move. The blade glowed with a cold light and made a buzzing sound. Li Jianyu was speechless. F***CK. If this isn't kung fu, then what is? Teacher Xiangyi, you F***King called this strengthening the body. Forgive me for being blunt, but if this sword of yours comes over, my entire body will be gone. Xiangyi sheathed her sword and breathed in and out. She found that not only had Li Jianyu stopped running, but he also had a dull look on his face. She tilted her head and asked, Director Li, I'm going to make breakfast. Is there anything you want to eat? Li Jianyu took 2 steps back. Teacher Xiangyi, you're too courteous. He was trembling, but he immediately regretted his words. He changed his words and said, No. Master Xiangyi, how could I trouble you with something as trivial as breakfast? I'll do it. I'll order takeout. I'll treat everyone to a meal. Xiangyi, you? Master? Director Li, are you all right? Damn. Why are you calling him Director Li? You can just call me Xiao Li. Xiangyi's milky white face was filled with confusion. It was very confusing. Chapter 110. Director Li, have you been stimulated by something? Or are you sick? Why don't I take your pulse and make you some medicinal cuisine? The girl suggested in a gentle voice. She held the long sword in her other hand, scaring Li Jianyu into retreating frantically. Xiangyi realized something and explained, Don't be nervous. It's not sharpened yet. Whoosh, she pulled out the sword and wanted Li Jianyu to see it clearly, but the man was so scared that he screamed. He caught a glimpse of a figure from the corner of his eye and pounced on it without hesitation. Shui, who had woken up early to train, calmly dodged the large human pendant that suddenly appeared. Good morning. He looked at Xiangyi and smiled. Good morning, Senior, Xiangyi said helplessly. Senior, please take a look for Director Li. My sword really isn't sharpened yet. Let me see. Shui stepped forward casually. Daddy, sure. Li Jianyu watched as Shui approached Xiangyi and picked up her long sword to examine it. It's quite heavy, he commented and brandished the sword casually. Li Jianyu, why do you know it too? Xiangyi, huh? Senior, have you learned swordsmanship before? I learned a little when I was filming. Shui's tone was gentle. She glanced at Li Jianyu and said, Ignore him, he's just a hamster. He's easily frightened. I don't know how he made up his mind to resign. Li Jianyu smiled and touched his head. If it weren't for his personality, he wouldn't have wasted so many years at Muyao TV. Well, since the 2 teachers are here, let's confirm the time and duration of the live broadcast. Yesterday, our program team discussed the idea of live broadcasting for the whole day on Saturday and Sunday and about 2 hours on weeknights. He accidentally made eye contact with Xiangyi. Li Jianyu shuddered. Of course, that's just our idea. Teacher, Shui, Master Xiangyi, if you 2 have any opinions, we can adjust it flexibly. 2 under one roof must be the most humble program team in history. Xiangyi, I do. Li Jianyu, please go ahead. Don't call me Master. Pondering for a long time, Li Jianyu asked cautiously, Then should I call you Big Boss? Whatever. Shui chuckled. Li Jianyu picked up his phone and ordered takeout. The staff members woke up one after another. Everyone woke up earlier than usual. The reason was none other than that he was looking forward to teacher Xiangyi's breakfast. In the end, what she received was takeout ordered by the director. Everyone. That's it. That's it. Li Jianyu cleared his throat and said in a dignified manner, Teacher Xiangyi works so hard. How can we let her make breakfast for us every day? We have to learn to earn our own living. Do you understand? Everyone seemed to understand, but not fully. They nodded in a daze, and then ate. In fact, Li Jianyu was quite generous. The breakfast he ordered was very sumptuous, but everyone felt that no soul. Hey, look at the trending searches. Teacher Xiangyi actually occupies 3 spots in the top 10. Hashtag Xiangyi's SCI thesis, hashtag Xiangyi's dishwasher, hashtag, just these 2. I just clicked on them. Teacher Xiangyi is really amazing. So is that untimely couple who's 3rd on the trending searches. A few minutes later, I feel like I've opened the door to a new world. Teacher Xiangyi and Teacher Shui, can these 2 be a couple? Just as everyone was gossiping, someone reminded them. Stop. Shui's agent is here. Chapter 111. The noisy gazebo fell silent for a second. Everyone was scared, but curious at the same time. They all looked at the newcomer. A black Audi was parked at the entrance of the manor. A very elite-looking man got out of the car. He was dressed in a strict black suit and rimless glasses. Compared to an artist in the entertainment industry, he looked more like a financial tycoon in an investment bank. Si Chuanbai, a well-known agent in the entertainment industry. He was ruthless and swift in his actions. He had single-handedly made several superstars famous. As he passed by the gazebo, he adjusted his glasses and nodded slightly at everyone. Everyone hurriedly greeted him. Good morning, Mr. C. Hello, Mr. C. Mr. C. Shuringdi is in the living room. Si Chuanbai, thank you. After he walked away, everyone felt relieved. Oh my God! Mr. C's aura is even stronger than the overbearing CEO. At the same time, in the living room, Xiangyi's agent, Nan, was slurping down beef brisket rice noodles. The beef brisket had been simmered overnight. It was soft and fragrant, and when he bit into it, the rich gravy would splash out. The fine rice noodles made from high-quality white sticky rice had a clear and sweet taste. Nan couldn't stop eating when paired with a few side dishes. Shui ate the noodles slowly. He didn't seem to be picky at all. No matter what Xiangyi cooked, he would eat it happily. As for Xiangyu, he was a standard night owl and was still asleep. Xiangyi had left some food for him. Another bowl. Nan couldn't help but burp. Xiangyi laughed. You'll get indigestion if you continue eating. Nan looked at her eagerly. Xiangyi shook her head and scooped half a bowl of rice noodles for him. The door of the villa wasn't closed. Si Chuanbai, who was at the door, saw this scene. He couldn't help but think of the post on the Melon Forum. His eyebrows twitched violently, and he raised his hand to knock on the door. The 3 people at the dining table looked in the direction of the sound. Shui asked in a natural tone, Have you had breakfast? Si Chuanbai said indifferently, I need to talk to you. Shui wiped the corners of his mouth. He stood up and followed Si Chuanbai to the balcony. Nan's eyes were filled with yearning. So, this is a gold medal manager. He looks so high class. Woo-woo, his hair is so lush, and his briefcase is made of rare leather. Xiangyi. Okay, this focus is very, Nan. A top manager? She asked. Nan explained. Si Chuanbai's business ability is really strong. He doesn't hesitate to tier up resources. Most importantly, he has a good eye for talent. He was the one who saved Shurindi back then. Save? Xiangyi wanted to ask for more details, but Xiao Naofu jumped into her arms and rubbed against her fingertips. It even took the initiative to expose its soft white belly to Xiangyi. The girl said seriously, "No, there's a lot of seasoning in the beef brisket. You might have a stomachache if you eat it." Meow. Just one. One piece. Xiangyi hesitated for a moment, but she really couldn't resist Xiao Naofu's cuteness. She picked up a piece of beef brisket, rinsed it with water, and fed it to Xiao Naofu. Xiao Naofu took a bite, and its icy blue eyes instantly widened. Meow, there's actually such delicious food in the world. This Hohu must be the happiest Hohu in the world. Xiangyi was interrupted by Xiao Naofu and forgot about the topic she wanted to ask Nan. On the balcony, Si Chuanbai handed Shui a phone, and the screen stopped at the post on the Melon Forum, looking for candy to eat every day in the glass shards of the untimely CP. Take a look for yourself. What kind of public opinion has fermented now? Shui swiped the screen and read hundreds of replies. Then she leisurely gave the original poster a like. Si Chuanbai. What kind of trick is this? Asterisk good night. Chapter 112. It's written well. It's interesting and imaginative. Shui's eyes were full of smiles as he commented. The famous manager in the industry took a deep breath and exhaled forcefully before asking through gritted teeth, "What are you thinking? Are you just fooling around, or are you serious? I'll arrange the rest of your work for you." Shui said innocently, "That depends on her." Si Chuanbai was speechless. The man was no longer as calm as he usually was. He took off his glasses and said, "So the netizen speculation is true? You're the one who's wooing her?" "I'm not wooing her." Si Chuanbai heaved a sigh of relief. The next second, he heard Shui say slowly, "It's not time yet." Si Chuanbai felt a lump in his throat. He suddenly had the urge to drink some oral medication. "I'm sure you're aware of her reputation in the industry. If you're determined, I have nothing to say." Si Chuanbai gritted his teeth and reminded him like a father. "Take precautions, unless you're planning to appear on a father's show in 3 years." Shui smiled faintly. It was unclear what he meant. Si Chuanbai knew that he had his own opinions. Once he made a decision, no one could interfere. "As long as you know what to do, let's talk about your schedule for the next month." Si Chuanbai was efficient and professional. He finished all his work in half an hour. "Okay, I'll get going first. Call me if you need anything," Si Chuanbai said in a businesslike tone. Shui mixed a bowl of noodles for herself and asked, "Are you really not going to have a bowl of noodles before you leave?" Si Chuanbai said coldly, "I'm not interested in Chinese breakfast." Actually, he could have settled Shui's work over the phone or through a video call. The reason why he came was to see Xiangyi with his own eyes. It was just as the netizens said. He didn't even fill a bowl of noodles for Shui. Not only that, but Shui even took the initiative to pour water for him. He even asked nicely if he wanted it warm or warm. Si Chuanbai felt his chest tighten. His gaze fell on Xiangyi. The young girl was busy packing up side dishes, fruits, and so on. She nagged at the colorful feather duster. "Do you want spicy beef? I have vacuum-packed ones that will keep for a long time. There's also some pickled radish and cabbage for you." "Good boy, that's enough." Nan glanced at Si Chuanbai with a guilty conscience. His hair was combed to the back and fixed with wax. His wristwatch and cufflinks looked very expensive. His leather shoes were polished to a shine. His black briefcase looked ordinary, but it was actually a custom-made model of rare leather from a famous brand. As for him, he had a flowery shirt from Taobao that cost 39.99 yuan, a pair of large pants that cost 20 yuan from a night market stall, and the most expensive sports shoes that cost 100 yuan from Abida's. Anan was so embarrassed that he couldn't even lift his head. He usually dressed like a decent person. Today was his day off, so he let loose and dressed like this to freeload breakfast at Xiangyi's house. Who would have thought that he would bump into Si Chuanbai without comparison? There would be no harm. Oh, here, it's packed. It should last for a long time. Xiangyi used a floral cloth to wrap all the lunchboxes into a half-meter-high bento bag. Nan was very touched. Hoo, good boy, you're so good. I'll go back and work hard. I'll get you the most profitable endorsement. It's the easiest job. Si Chuanbai, there was nothing wrong with that. It was just too real. Before leaving, Si Chuanbai casually glanced at the bags in Anan's arms. Inexplicably, he was a little envious. Chapter 113. It was almost 11 o'clock when Xiangyu woke up. He rubbed his eyes and walked out of the room drowsily. Outside the floor-to-ceiling window, Xiangyi was trimming the withered flowers and extra branches in the endless sea of flowers. She was a very patient person. Even if she had to repeat simple things, she wouldn't show any impatience. Xiangyu gulped. It really was his sister. Yesterday wasn't a dream. He subconsciously picked up his phone and typed a message in the family group. Just as he was about to send it, he suddenly paused. If Xiangyu and the others knew about his sister's secret, would he still have a chance to order her around when those sissy-loving maniacs took action? No. Xiangyu, who thought he was the smartest in the family, deleted the text one by one and swaggered into the garden. He sat on the rocking chair next to Xiangyi, crossed his legs, and said like a boss, "Sister, pour me a glass of water." Xiangyi stopped what she was doing, and her eyes curved into the shape of a crescent moon. "You're awake? Do you want something to eat other than water?" "Oh, sister is so gentle. How could he order his sister around?" Xiangyu was full of guilt. He jumped off the rocking chair and said arrogantly and indifferently, "Your legs are so short. I don't need you to run errands. I'll go to the kitchen and find something to eat. There's a thermos in the fridge. You can eat it after heating it up." I know. Women are so long-winded. Xiangyu finished his meal in a few bites in the kitchen and poured a glass of warm water for his sister. He even added honey with a small spoon. Was a spoonful too little? Another spoonful. After mixing it evenly, Xiangyu carried the honey water to his sister. When he was in front of her, he changed his expression and put one hand in his pocket. "Here, I poured it for you on the way." Xiangyi took it with a smile. She took a small sip and praised, "It's so sweet, and the temperature is just right. Brother, you're so good. You can make it taste perfect with just a touch." "Humph, of course. Don't you know who I am?" You couldn't suppress the corners of his mouth. He was in a good mood and snatched the gardening shears from Xiangyi's hand. "See that rocking chair? Go sit there. You're so slow. I'll show you your brother's speed." Xiangyu showed her what it meant to be a gaming god's hand speed. He completely forgot about ordering his little sister around. A peaceful and warm day passed in the blink of an eye. At 8 p.m., the live broadcast began. Countless viewers instantly flooded into the Two Under One Roof live stream. After waiting for an entire day, it's finally live. Excited. I see Shuringdi. His black shirt looks so good. Smog looks so cute in this cream sweater. Danger! The little vase has entered the kitchen. Friends, quickly prepare to eat. Xiangyi tied her hair into a bun and went to check the braised food in the casserole. The camera panned and landed on a pot of sugar-colored red brine. The duck wings, beef, eggs, shiitake mushrooms, and dried tofu that had been braised for an entire afternoon were glowing red. Just looking at them was enough to whet one's appetite. Xiangyi turned off the heat and let the braised food soak in the pot. She then made some onion oil noodles and assorted cold dishes. Remembering that Li Jianyu had told her to pay attention to her interactions with netizens, she turned to the camera and said gently, "A simple and homely dinner is ready. Has everyone eaten yet?" The live comments in the live stream. "You call this a homely meal? Sorry to disturb you. I want to go to Sister Yi's house with a bowl of food. I'm different. I want to go to the dog's house with a bowl." Chapter 114. In the living room, Shi Sui opened a can of cat food, while Xiao Naofu buried its face into the bowl. The man's slender fingers stroked the back of Xiao Naofu's neck. Xiao Naofu stuck out its butt in protest, but it accidentally sat on the ground and let out a cute meow. Xiang Yu, who had a strong furry fetish, clenched his fists and forced himself to remain calm. Such a cute kitten. I can rub it until it goes bald. However, on the surface, he maintained a noble, cold, and disdainful expression. When the food was served, Xiao Naofu jumped into Xiang Yu's arms before quietly poking out half of its head. Although the canned food was delicious, it had been full of curiosity about human food ever since it tasted Xiang Yi's brisket in the morning. Its soft, meaty paws clawed at Xiang Yu's plate, wanting to taste the braised food he had picked up. "Xiao Naofu!" Xiang Yi's voice rang out, scaring Xiao Naofu into Xiang Yu's arms. "Xiang Yi, brother, it can't eat spicy food. Don't feed it." Xiao Naofu whined coquettishly. "Meow, meow, meow." Xiang Yu, on one side was his sister, and on the other was a cat. Men are so difficult, cack in the comments section of the live stream. Ha ha ha. Sameo G's troubled expression is so cute. Why is the vase fairy so stingy? What's wrong with feeding the cat some delicious food? Hey, did you know that cats can get sick if they ingest too much salt, and that eating too much stimulating food can cause sudden death? Xiang Yu hesitated for a few seconds before tactfully handing the cat to Shi Sui. "Sorry, brother Shi." Xiao Naofu had a natural resistance to Shi Sui, and its little legs kicked in the air twice in dissatisfaction. Shi Sui looked down and smiled slightly. "If you eat it secretly, I'll—" He raised an eyebrow. "Kiss you, understand? Xiao Naofu." This stinky man is so bad." The live stream exploded. "Is there such a good thing? I'll eat it. I'll eat it. Hubby, kiss me." For a moment, I don't know who to envy. I'm crying tears of envy in front of the screen. Shi Sui picked up a piece of braised beef and waved it in front of Xiao Naofu. Xiao Naofu endured the humiliation and turned its face away. Xiang Yu was dumbfounded. He didn't expect Brother Shi to solve the problem that he couldn't solve so easily. However, looking at Xiao Naofu's drooping head, he couldn't bear to see it like this, so he ate his meal absent-mindedly. After the meal, Xiang Yu drove away the cameraman and went to coax Xiao Naofu with some dried fish. "Xiao Naofu, I was wrong. It's not that I don't want to help you, but we have to listen to our sister." All right. Don't be angry. Come and have some dried fish." "That's right. Eat slowly. There's no rush." Xiang Yu thought that without the cameraman, the netizens in the live stream wouldn't be able to see him. Little did she know that Li Jianyu and the others had installed fixed cameras in the bedroom, kitchen, pavilion, and other places. This scene made countless people laugh. Goose, goose, goose. Does he not know that there are fixed cameras? I'm going to laugh my head off. My bestie just said that it's not that straight guys don't know how to coax people. It's just that the person he's coaxing isn't you. Smog is so much like my dad. Every time my mom criticizes me, he doesn't dare to say anything. Then he secretly coaxes me behind my mom's back. Ha! After eating and drinking to its fill, Xiao Naofu lay on its belly and played with its tail. Xiang Yu looked around, and after confirming that no one was around, he plunged into the kitten's belly and rubbed his head against it happily. What? The esports god also likes cats? The netizens exclaimed. I didn't expect you to be such a Sameogu. Chapter 115. Xiang Yu, who had been sucking on the cat for a few minutes, was completely unaware that his image had been shattered in front of millions of netizens. Xiao Naofu was dumbfounded. At first, it waved its paws to refuse, but when it couldn't break free, it had no choice but to endure the humiliation. Stupid woman. This Hohu has sacrificed so much for you to make up with your brother. Xiangyu's face was full of satisfaction as he sucked on the cat. He hugged Xiao Naofu and kissed it on the cheek. Xiao Naofu, I'm not clean anymore. Be good, I'll come see you next time. Xiangyu pressed his forehead against the cat's and said reluctantly, I'm going back to the base. When I win the competition and earn the prize money, I'll buy Yukin food and snacks. Buy me food? Xiao Naofu's ears twitched as it proactively rubbed against Xiangyu's chest and collarbone. Its eyes lit up as it said in a childish voice, Meow, meow. It seemed to be saying, I only have Big Brother in my heart. Big Brother must come see me. The comments in the live stream. Green tea meow. What a bitch. Ha ha ha. A cat and a man have reached a deal just like that. I'm so looking forward to the moment Smog finds out about the camera. Logic, please remind him to watch the replay. Xiangyu came to the kitchen and saw his sister packing food for him. His heart suddenly softened as it was filled to the brim. Don't pack food, we can't finish it. Xiangyu stuck his hands in his pockets, refusing to look at Xiangyi. We have Annie's at the base to cook, and you can order takeout. Xiangyi blinked her eyes, her voice soft. Then you can share it with your teammates. Xiangyu remembered the last conversation he had with his sister a year ago, and his nose suddenly felt a little sour. Big Brother, I'll cook you delicious food when you come back from the competition. TCH, who cares? Okay, don't send me off. There are mosquitoes outside. They'll sting you later. He suddenly panicked and stepped forward to grab Xiangyi's shoulders. The girl's body was thin and slender, so thin that her bones hurt his hand. You're not leaving, right? Xiangyi was stunned for a few seconds before she gently replied, Yes. Xiangyu sniffed and said fiercely, If you're lying to me, I'll never talk to you again. Emotions were contagious. Xiangyi wasn't a pretentious person, but at that moment, her eyes were slightly red. She gave Xiangyu a hug and said in a soft but firm voice, I won't lie to you again. Brother, I promise. Although the brothers of the Xiang family all spoiled their little sister, in front of Xiangyi, they always abided by the propriety of men and women. After she started kindergarten, they rarely even hugged her. When girls grow up, they can't just hug boys. Xiangyu muttered, But I'll let you hug me today. But you're not allowed to hug any other man except my sister. Got it? In the live stream. Oh my God, why do I feel like crying when I see this? Sameo looks fierce on the surface in front of his sister, but he's actually very doting on her equals W smiley face. The romance variety show next door is making me feel awkward. Two under one roof is much better. This kind of warm daily life is so healing, Sure Sway, and Xiangyi walked Xiangyu to the entrance of the manor. Let's go. Brother Sure, I'll leave my sister to you. Help me take care of her. Xiangyu waved at the two of them. Sure Sway pushed his gold-rimmed glasses up his nose and said calmly, Definitely. And Chapter 116. Parting was always intertwined with melancholy. Xiangyi watched her brother's car drive away. She felt a little sad, but she was also full of joy. Her brother had forgiven her. That's great. The moon is beautiful tonight. Sure Sway's deep and gentle voice sounded in her ear. Xiangyi froze for a moment before looking up. The crescent moon was like a hook, and the stars in the sky were like water. She smiled and said, Yeah, the stars are beautiful too. Do you want a drink? Sure Sway's casual suggestion stunned all the staff at the scene, not to mention the netizens in the live stream. What the F asterisk CK? Drink. Two people under the same roof. What kind of direction is this? Boo-hoo, Sure Sway, you're too naive. What if the vase fairy does something to you when she's drunk? What's wrong with Shui, the moon, and the wine? Is he really interested in the little vase? Xiangyi's eyes lit up. Sure, the rice wine I brewed last year is just right. I'll go get it from the wine cellar. It's a little dark, I'll go get it. I'll go make some dishes then. Let's have supper while we're at it. Shui chuckled and said, Okay, I'll listen to you. The netizens in the live stream were speechless. Shui's tone is inexplicably doting. I have to say, these two are so good-looking. Just a casual scene from an idol drama. Sameo ge, I just left, and you're already having supper behind my back? Is this something a human would do? Shui returned with a small jar of rice wine. Xiangyi had already prepared the electric grill and was humming a light melody as she brushed oil on the grill. There were a few plates next to it, which were filled with ingredients such as pork belly, squid, tofu, eggplant, and peanuts. Seeing Shui enter, Xiangyi said apologetically, It's too late, and there are limited ingredients at home. Senior, can you make do? Li Jianyu, who was behind the camera, swallowed his saliva, his eyes wide open. Big boss, you call this making do? Shui replied calmly, I won't compromise. He opened the jar of rice wine, and the unique, sweet aroma of rice wine filled the air. The little girl was skillful, and even the ordinary rice wine was brewed by her to have a unique flavor. One was pouring wine while the other was roasting meat. The scene was natural and harmonious. The comments in the live stream went crazy. Oh my God, as long as these two are in the same frame, I'll start imagining the sweet background music. Friends, follow me and post this sentence on the public chat. Untimely is real. CP fans, can you shut up? I suggest that everyone report them whenever they see them. It's just a meal. What are you guys imagining? Shui only sees the vase fairy as his sister. Oh, Shuringdi is pouring wine for the little vase. Isn't it usually the younger generation pouring for the older generation? This microscopic girl felt that Shuringdi did not treat the little vase as a junior at all. Hands on hips, as soon as Shui finished pouring the wine, Xiangyi couldn't wait to take a sip. The sweet aroma of rice wrapped around the sweet aroma of wine, and the taste was superb. She narrowed her eyes and quietly savored the taste for a few seconds before exclaiming, It's delicious. Shui smirked. She's indeed a little alcoholic. He had discovered her when she was 17 years old. The thinly sliced pork belly sizzled in the roasting pan, and the fat dripped onto the pan. It didn't take long for it to be cooked. Senior, have some meat. Xiangyi generously gave the entire pot of barbecued pork belly to Shui. A bunch of haters appeared in the comments section. Ha! She's finally showing her true colors. No matter how much you suck up to Shuringdi, he won't like you. Toxic, can a woman's value only be realized by sucking up to men? The next second, Shuringdi's faint voice echoed in the live stream. I remember that you hate eating pork belly the most. The haters. Chapter 117. All the trolls were speechless. How the F***ck are we supposed to argue with him? Ahem. Xiangyi, who had been exposed, choked and coughed. She awkwardly put down the cup of rice wine and said, Senior, your memory is really good. She remembered that she had only seen Shui a few times in total, right? The number of times they had eaten together could be counted on one hand, probably only 2 or 3 times. He actually remembered her preferences. Perhaps her uncle had mentioned them to him before. You're still as picky about food as you were when you were young. Shui slowly dipped the pork into Xiangyi's secret barbecue sauce. The streaky pork was oily but not greasy, and when bitten into it, the meat was juicy. The ingredients were fresh enough, and the slightly spicy sauce doubled the taste. Xiangyi held the grilled squid with a pair of tongs and said weakly, I'm all grown up now. I'm not picky about food anymore. Is that so? The man raised his eyebrows, his peach blossom eyes full of ridicule. Xiangyi, because I've never bought food that I hate when I grew up. In the live stream, ha ha ha, Sister E is so serious and hilarious. The truth is out. No wonder my mom isn't picky about food. It's because she has control over our family's purchasing power. When you were young, I remember now. Sure, Ingdi mentioned that the two families are family friends. So are they childhood sweethearts? After the squid was cooked, Xiangyi first threw the meat into the barbecue sauce and rolled it a few times. She then took a piece of lettuce and rolled it up with pickles and tofu before stuffing it into her mouth. Her cheeks were puffed up as she ate. Grilled meat and vegetables are really the best match. Li Jianyu also quickly asked the cameraman, Old Li, to give a close-up of the grill. There was golden streaky pork, red and tender squid, tender and white tofu, light-colored eggplant. The sound recording equipment transmitted the subtle sizzling sounds and splashing sounds of oil to the electronic devices of the netizens. It could be said to be a feast for the eyes and ears of the netizens. Sister E is so cute. Did anyone team up to steal Sister E? F***CK. The production team is ruthless. I'm not going to lose weight. I just finished dinner and ordered takeout. After watching live streams for 3 days, I've gained 2 pounds. F***CK. Sure, Indy, can't you just talk about love with the little vase? Couldn't they hold hands and kiss on the lips? Eat, eat, eat. All you know is to eat. Sure, Indy, you can't do it. In an instant, a silly term rushed to the real-time hot search, and there was a trend of rising. With meat and wine, the sadness in Xiangyi's heart disappeared without a trace. She even clinked glasses with Sher Sui in a good mood. Cheers. Sher Sui followed her here, almost to the point of indulgence. Bullet screen. He. Round it up, this is the cross-cupped wine. You guys sit here and don't move. I'll move the Civil Affairs Bureau over after I finish the takeout. No one would have expected that Sher Sui and Xiangyi's CP fans would suddenly grow stronger just because of a midnight snack. At 9 o'clock, the live stream ended. The netizens were still unsatisfied, and they quickly picked up the hashtag #untimely hashtag. There were even some wives who began to produce food. Sweet cookies and Q maps were all over the super forum. At the same time, Si Chuanbai, who had just finished a day of work and was about to soak his feet, was so bombarded by a series of phone calls that he didn't even have time to put his feet into the wooden basin. He opened Weibo to take a look, only to see that #SureIngdi is no good hashtag was on the hot search list. Is this PR or not? Should I remove the hot search list or not? He lit a cigarette for himself with a face full of vicissitudes. Chapter 118. At the manor, Xiangyi prepared the ingredients for the staff, and everyone happily gathered for a barbecue. Sher Sui and Xiangyi were left alone in the living room. Sher Sui leaned back in his chair and lazily stared at the little bunny in front of him. The girl rested her cheeks on her hands and waited for the rice wine and eggs to boil in the pot on the table. Her milky white face was slightly flushed from the alcohol, and her beautiful starry eyes were sparkling. Her persistent and expectant gaze was as cute as ever. Sher Sui's memories were pulled back to 3 years ago. He had a good memory, but he never remembered unimportant things. He couldn't remember why he went to the Xiang residence to look for Xiangfeng that day. The only thing he remembered was that little Xiangyi was secretly drinking at home. The little girl in the bunny pajamas opened the door for him. According to etiquette, he should have left, but at that time, he stepped into the Xiang residence. The little girl had prepared a complete set of dishes to go with the wine. There were shredded squid, edamame, chicken feet with pickled peppers, peanuts, fried chicken. There weren't many dishes, but they filled the entire coffee table. There were 2 empty bottles of fruit wine and half a bottle of red wine on the table. Shui picked up the wine bottle and looked at the alcohol content. His slender fingertips pinched the space between his eyebrows. The little girl was completely unguarded against him. She patted the furry cushion next to her and said, Sit here. Shui clicked his tongue and said, "You're quite brave." The little girl was obviously drunk. She smiled sweetly at him. As she smiled, she even confessed softly, "I'm sorry. Brother, you're so handsome. I like you so much." Shui covered his thin lips with his fingers and coughed awkwardly. The person being teased didn't feel shy, but the teasing man grabbed a pillow and buried half his face in it, only revealing a pair of clear and bright eyes. Shui bent his knees and half knelt in front of her. His fingers lazily rested on the back of his neck. "You like me?" He smiled and teased her. "Kid, if you fall in love with me, your brothers and uncles will gang up on me, right?" "I'm not a kid," she mumbled in a soft voice. "You're underage." "Can I like people just because I'm underage?" the little girl asked in confusion. "No," Shui answered casually and picked up a piece of squid to eat, but it was snatched away by Xiangyi. The little girl said domineeringly, "Then you're not allowed to eat it." Shui was amused by her. Stingy. Xiangyi pouted. She thought for a moment and asked him, "Then when I grow up, can I like you?" Shui took out the cigarette box, hesitated for a moment, and then put it back into his trouser pocket. "As you wish." The little girl looked at the shredded squid, then looked at him. She chopped the already thin shredded squid even thinner before stuffing it into his hand. She said in a friendly manner, "Then you can eat a little." After saying that, the little girl tilted her head onto the sofa. Her eyelids were so heavy that she couldn't open them. In the blink of an eye, she fell asleep. Shui, he lowered his head and looked at the shredded squid in his palm. He bit down lightly with the tip of his teeth, and a faint sweetness spread out. He lowered his eyes and smiled very lightly. Ding! The health pot stopped working. Xiangyi scooped a bowl of rice wine and eggs for Shui, first before scooping a bowl for herself. Shui came back to his senses, and his gaze landed on Xiangyi. The little girl was stirring with a spoon to dissipate the heat. The red goji berries, the yellow egg, and the white glutinous rice were rippling. She scooped a spoonful and tasted it. It was so hot that she gasped. Sensing his gaze, Xiangyi turned her small face and looked into his eyes. Instantly, she met the senior's gaze that was as though he was looking at a scumbag. The little girl licked the corner of her lips and was inexplicably terrified. "It's very sweet. Senior, don't you want to try it? Asterisk. Is this week's recommendation 10 times better than before? Omega, good night." Chapter 119. Shui narrowed his eyes. "Really?" Xiangyi looked at him innocently. After a few seconds, she suddenly understood. She picked up a clean spoon and stirred Shui's bowl of rice wine and eggs. She pushed it to his hand. The temperature should be okay. If it were another man, Xiangyi wouldn't do this. But after all, it was her own Zai. Of course, she had to take care of him. Shui smiled ambiguously. "You've grown up." Xiangyi waited for a while, but didn't hear anything else. She asked curiously, "At this time, shouldn't I praise you more for being sensible?" Shui drank the rice wine slowly and said in a tired voice, "You really don't know anything." "Xiangyi." "Okay, whatever Zai says." The little girl showed a doting smile, like an old mother. After drinking the rice wine and glutinous rice balls, Shui consciously went to wash the dishes. There were only 2 bowls and a pot. He didn't use the dishwasher and turned on the tap to wash them. By the way, Senior, I'm going out tomorrow. I may not be there for the live broadcast at night. Xiangyi's voice came through the sound of the water. He turned off the tap and looked back. Tomato Entertainment's annual party. Huh. Senior, you know about it too? Yes, I heard Si Chuanbai mention it today. Tomato Entertainment was the agency signed by the one who occupied Xiangyi's body. It wasn't a big company, but because it was good at marketing, it was quite famous in the circle. Xiangyi, I can make lunch for you and put it in the fridge. If you want to eat it, just heat it up. Or I'll try to come back early to cook. As she spoke, Xiangyi suddenly paused. It was just going out. Why did it seem like she was sorry to him? Moreover, Zai couldn't order takeout if he wanted to. It wasn't like he had to eat her cooking. She was a little embarrassed and habitually scratched her eyebrows. The man's steady and mellow voice fell into her ears. I'll wait for you to come back. The warm light dimmed the top of his head. When away from the camera, he was obviously a very sharp and alienated man. At this time, he was gentle, like a husband waiting for his newlywed wife to come home. Xiangyi's heart skipped a beat, and she held her breath. Suddenly, she heard him chuckle and say, with Xiao Naofu. Phew, Xiangyi exhaled. She didn't have time to figure out why her heart was beating so fast. She nodded and said, I'm going to bed. Good night. Good night. These two simple words sounded inexplicably sweet and soft when they came out of his mouth. Xiangyi quickened her pace and rubbed her burning ears in panic. The next day, after lunch, Xiangyi began to prepare lunch. Xiao Naofu's portion was boiled chicken breast and pumpkin puree. Shui's portion consisted of sweet and sour pork ribs, thick egg-braised rice balls, and purple rice balls with meat floss. After adding cat food and water to Xiao Naofu's bowl, Xiangyi said goodbye to Shui. Senior, I'm leaving. Take care of yourself and Xiao Naofu. Shui's tone was gentle. Okay, take care of yourself and don't drink. I won't. Xiangyi remembered that on the day she transmigrated back, she was drunk in Shui's room. The girl smiled awkwardly but politely, turned around, and walked away. As soon as she left, only one person and one cat were left in the living room. Xiao Naofu jumped onto the sofa and slumped into a pancake. It looked at her provocatively. Meow, 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 meow. This is my territory. Shui unceremoniously picked up Xiao Naofu. She raised her eyebrows and smiled slightly. No one is backing you up. Who are you going to be unreasonable with? Kitty. Meow. Xiao Naofu. Why is this stinky man like a villain? Chapter 120. Xiao Naofu kicked its little legs, wanting to kick Shui a few times. Shui saw through its thoughts and, relying on his tall stature and long arms, raised the hatchet a little higher. This time, no matter how hard it kicked with its short legs, it couldn't reach him at all. There's only you and me at home now. No one will know if a disobedient kitten gets stewed, Shui said casually. Xiao Naofu didn't dare to move anymore. Its round eyes filled with tears. Boo-hoo! Aren't I the most pampered hoo-hoo in the family? Why did Shui, this stinky man, change as soon as that stupid woman left? So be good, okay? Shui's gentle tone made Xiao Naofu tremble. It hesitated for a few seconds, then tried to please Shui. Meow, meow. Where there's life, there's hope. When Xiangyi comes back, watch this hoo-hoo play you to death. Shui sat down on the sofa, with Xiao Naofu in his arms, his slender fingers gently stroking the back of the cat's neck. Xiao Naofu endured the humiliation and thought, since I can't resist, I'll just enjoy it. It meowed happily, relaxed its body, and nestled on Shui's long legs, thinking that the stinky man's muscles were quite comfortable. The next second, Shui muttered to himself, I heard kittens can be neutered at 6 months. TSK, I wonder how old Xiao Naofu is now. Xiao Naofu? Damn it, be a human, sure sway. This Hohu is still a baby, and you're already thinking of such cruel things. Even the dogs raised at Little Rabbit Farm aren't as good as you. While it was feeling indignant, sure Sway's thin lips curled up. It seemed that he had guessed correctly. Xiao Naofu understood human language, and even had the thought process of a child. However, it didn't seem very smart to have probed so easily. At the entrance of the manor, Xiangyi saw Nen waving at her from afar. Sweetheart, here. Behind him was a rather stylish nanny van. The entertainment industry was an extremely realistic place. When Xiangyi was being criticized by the entire internet, the nanny van that her company gave her was in tatters. Now that Two Under One Roof had just started airing a few days ago, the company immediately gave her a new one. Nan opened the car door for Xiangyi and nagged about the upcoming itinerary. I'll take you to get your makeup done and change first. We'll walk the red carpet at 6 o'clock. Wait a minute. Xiangyi interrupted him. It starts at 6. Why are you here so early? My goodness, you haven't recovered your memory yet. Nan said sadly. Can you have some self-awareness as a female celebrity? I'm already late enough. That little demoness who doesn't get along with you has been starving since 3 days ago. She went to try on her makeup early this morning. Her makeup is so exquisite that it takes 1 or 2 hours. Xiangyi, I'm sorry to disturb. I don't understand the entertainment industry. Oh, right. You haven't seen the dress you're going to wear today, right? Here, I took a photo. Nan swiped through the photo album and showed it to Xiangyi. Isn't it pretty? I've carefully selected them. It was a bright red dress that was very visually striking. Xiangyi pursed her lips, and some memories that she didn't want to recall flashed through her mind. She closed her eyes and said softly, Thank you, it's very beautiful. Nan didn't notice her abnormality and was excitedly scrolling through the Melon forum. However, as he scrolled through, his face turned ugly. A glaring title came into view. Take a look at how low Vase Fairy's dress is today. Chapter 121. Main post. Today is FQ's annual meeting. I'm sure everyone knows that today is FQ's annual meeting. Jiang Chun lives up to his name, wearing a custom-made black suit ASWL. A few of the female artists are also outstanding. Lin Jia's mermaid dress shows off her figure. Mo Li's gender-neutral suit is also very nice, and the most beautiful is Qin Wanyan's starry dress. I found a picture posted by her manager. She's simply a shining fairy, okay? Then came the funny part. Wasn't a certain vase fairy very popular recently? After searching for a long time, I couldn't find any official photos. However, a friend revealed that the dress her manager had borrowed looked like this. The attached picture is below. Everyone can take a look. Today's lowest order the post also mentioned several of Tomato Entertainment's most popular artists, and it immediately gained popularity. Brother Jiang Chun, kill me, unbutton your sister's shirt. Mo Li's face is really high-end. She's a walking clothes hanger. No wonder she's a model. Qin Wanyan is amazing. She's a fairy, compared to Vase Fairy's outfit. Oh my God, look at those sparkling sequins. The Xiang actress isn't going for the cute style, but is she going for the style of a century dancer? Sisters, I've checked the price. This dress is from a niche designer overseas. It's only a little over 10,000. Instead of buying it, she borrowed it. Forgive me for being blunt, but she's so low. To be honest, this dress looks like a cheap online celebrity. Even if she can't borrow a luxury brand's new season, she should at least wear something from last year's Fashion Week. I feel like Vase Fairy isn't even qualified to be a vase today. Xiangyi saw that Nan's expression wasn't right. She asked gently, What's wrong? Anan showed her the post and said aggrievedly, "It's obviously from Qin Wanyan's people. My dear, you treat her like a sister and treat her so well. How can she treat you like this?" It wasn't the first time Xiangyi had heard the name Qin Wanyan. Yan Nai had called her Sister Wanyan over and over again. Xiangyi asked, "In the past year, have we been close?" Nen went crazy. "Of course. The two of you are great, but you're too silly. You listen to everything Qin Wanyan says." She said that the best friends in the entertainment industry are not really best friends, so she never mentioned that you two are friends in front of others. She even said that singing and acting are too hard and that it's better to go on variety shows to earn money. You really listened to her. After complaining for a long time, Nen finally stopped. "Io, my throat is almost smoking." Xiangyi handed him a bottle of mineral water and unscrewed the cap. Nan gulped down half a bottle and regained his fighting spirit. "My dear, don't be sad. I'm going to scold them right now. I don't think these keyboard warriors know how to respect people if they don't experience the beating of society." Half an hour later, Nan, who wanted to beat someone up, ended up being mercilessly beaten up by netizens. He hugged his knees and sobbed, "Oh my God, they're so fierce. #rookie. Nan shut down on the spot. Xiangyi coaxed, "You want to come to my place for hot pot after dinner?" Nan, ! "Okay, I want to eat lamb rolls." "Then I'll ask Uncle Wang to kill a lamb in advance." "That's too cruel," Nen said as he swallowed the saliva that was about to reach his mouth. He was looking forward to eating lamb. Oh no, the annual party. At 5:50 in the evening, all the major media outlets gathered at the entrance of the Zmun Hotel. The drizzle couldn't dampen the enthusiasm of the crowd. Tomato Entertainment's official live stream started at this time. Chapter 122. Finally, the live stream is on. The officials are leading the way. Welcome to Tomato Entertainment's large-scale beauty contest. Don't miss it if you're passing by. Where is Chun Chun? I just want to see Chun Chun Cub. I'm curious who Jiang Chun will be walking the red carpet with today. Is his female companion with a member of C7? I'm dying of laughter. C7, the abbreviation of Jiang Chen's boy group. Please don't freeload off our brother Jiang Chen's popularity, okay? I can't bring these trash members along. In the entertainment industry, Jiang Chen's fans are the most disgusting. They're a group to begin with. Quit if you can. Do you really think you're the best without the support of your fans? The red carpet show hadn't even started yet, but the fans were already tearing into each other. Xiangyi, who had finished her styling, leaned against the nanny seat and closed her eyes to rest. Nan was still gossiping with her. Wow, C7's fans and Jiang Chen's fans are tearing into each other again. They sure have a variety of ways to greet each other's ancestors. Jiang Chun had debuted as the face of C7. After forming the group was only considered a small hit. However, Jiang Chen's personal popularity had skyrocketed due to his participation in a certain idol drama. His popularity alone was higher than that of the other 6 members combined. Thus, Tomato Entertainment began to stir up trouble. The officials announced that Jiang Chun would not be leaving the group for solo activities. Following that, a years-long battle between the group's fans and his fans began. Xiangyi had bumped into them in the styling studio just now. The 7 boys were all very good-looking, but the atmosphere was oppressive. Each of them had their own group, and Jiang Chun was undoubtedly the one being isolated. Xiangyi's dressing room was at the end of the corridor. While waiting for the nanny car to arrive, she accidentally overheard the conversation between Jiang Chun and his agent outside. "Jiang Chun, don't you know you're prone to edema? Who do you think would like you when your face is so swollen? Also, if one member ignores you, It might be that person's problem. But if all 6 of them ignore you, can't you reflect on yourself? With such an unlikable personality, if it weren't for me, would you be where you are today? Xiangyi raised her eyebrows. Is this considered verbal violence? Then came a clear but downcast male voice. Sorry, I practiced too late last night and accidentally drank half a glass of water. Why are you practicing dancing? You can't possibly return to that lousy group. Do you understand? No one will like you if you go back. You guys can't possibly have stage performances either. Are there any singing shows in the country? Besides, do you really think that those fools will tolerate you? Jiang Chen, you're already different from them. They need to look up to you. Please don't say that, the young man protested softly. They are all very good people. Forget it. I have nothing to say to you. Remember to walk the red carpet with Qin Wanyan later. I've already prepared the announcement. Don't disappoint me. A few seconds later, the sound of high heels on the ground gradually faded away. The youth outside the door sobbed for a while. Suddenly, there was the sound of something heavy falling to the ground. Xiangyi didn't like to meddle in other people's business, but she was worried that there might be an accident. So she decisively opened the door. Jiang Chen fell onto the ground. He didn't pass out, but his face was frighteningly pale. While he was in a trance, he felt his wrist being touched by soft and warm fingertips for a moment. Then, a milk candy was stuffed into his mouth. So sweet, he lifted his eyes. In the dim light, the girl in front of him seemed to be holding a handful of bright stars, calmly and indifferently looking at him. Chapter 123. I've checked your pulse. It should be hypoglycemia. Where do you feel uncomfortable? Dizzy? Nausea? Her gentle tone was full of patience. Jiang Chen struggled to stand up. Leaning against the wall, he thanked her weakly. I'm fine. Thank you, sister. Speaking of which, he had started his career earlier than Xiangyi, but he was only 19 years old. Xiangyi liked this kind of polite and good-looking kid. She asked, Do you want to take a rest in this dressing room? She added, You're alone. I won't go in. After all, she still had the reputation of ruining little fresh meats for no reason. Jiang Chen obviously knew about the rumors. He looked a little embarrassed. No, it's an old problem. I don't want to trouble you. Xiangyi nodded slightly. Okay, take care of yourself. Then she really didn't want to continue to care about him. Lifting her skirt, she walked into the dressing room slowly. Jiang Chen had an inexplicable feeling. He called out to Xiangyi, Sister, do you have any more candy? Because of the recording of Heartbeat, his agent had been complaining that he looked fat in the live broadcast. He hadn't eaten anything these days. At night, he would even squeeze some time to exercise and practice dancing. He was afraid that he would faint again at the annual meeting. Xiangyi took out some candy from her bag and gave it to him. Soft candy, fruit candy, chocolate, everything. She liked children, so she always had candy with her. But lately, she seemed to have been using it to coax her big friends. Jiang Chen stroked the edge of the candy wrapper and said in a low voice, Thank you. He wasn't a good talker. He had always been passive in social situations, but at that moment, he started to find something to talk about. Sister, are you a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner? Just a little bit. The girl's bright eyes fell on him. Her long eyelashes blinked. She saw through Jiang Chen's uneasiness and said, Shall I get a chair for you? Jiang Chen was obviously relieved, but the next second, he lowered his head, feeling ashamed. He felt extremely conflicted. He was afraid of having a scandal with Xiangyi, but he couldn't help but want to rely on her like a chick. But Xiangyi didn't seem to care. She brought a chair with a back for him and even gave him a cute pillow from a Nan. At the end of the corridor, where no one was paying attention to, the voice-activated light went off. It was dim and hazy. Xiangyi didn't talk to him anymore. It was very quiet, but Jiang Chun felt extremely safe. He pinched the pillow. It was soft and warm. The rich, milky fragrance blossomed on the tip of his tongue, and the dizziness faded away. His vision and physical strength began to slowly recover. He couldn't help but sneak a peek at the dressing room. The door was half open, and he could vaguely see the girl's skirt dragging on the ground. It was like the red freesia that his mother raised in his hometown, looking at the brightest and most brilliant when it bloomed. She was different from the rumors. In fact, he only needed to use a little force to push the door open, and he would be able to clearly see what Xiangyi was doing. Playing with mobile phones? In a daze. Touch up her makeup? However, the light in Jiang Chen's eyes only shone for a moment before it dimmed down again. When Anan came to pick up Xiangyi, Jiang Chun had already left. A few pieces of candy wrappers were placed neatly on the cushion as if they were standing in a military posture, as if they had obsessive-compulsive disorder. In the nanny van, Nan was holding Xiangyi's handbag for her. Feeling that the bag was constantly vibrating, he hurried to take out the phone inside. "My dear, is there someone who's looking for you urgently?" Xiangyi swiped the screen. A text message from an unknown contact. She clicked it open. It was a picture of Xiao Naofu. There were exactly 9 of them. There were also 2 text messages. "It's very obedient. It's watching the live broadcast in my arms." It was only when Mo Li, who had a neutral hairstyle and short hair, appeared that the comments section began to heat up. "Wow, wow, wow, Emily is so cool. A model's background is indeed different. Even walking the red carpet is like walking on stage. Sister is indeed the darling of the fashion world. This wide-shouldered suit is the latest autumn collection from a certain luxury brand." Then Lin Jia appeared. When Annan saw her, it was as if he had been injected with chicken blood. "It's this little vixen. She's so scheming." She even changed the dress to a low-cut one. The sparkling champagne-colored mermaid dress wrapped around Lin Jia's charming curves, and the live broadcast suddenly became lively. F***CK. I like this sister. Is Lin Jia's figure so good? I'm so envious of her figure. Why is her flesh so plump? I have a feeling that the vase fairy's skinny and slender type will be killed in seconds. Chapter 125. Immediately afterward, the members of the boy group C7 walked on the red carpet. From left to right, there were 6 of them. Jiang Chun was not among them. Fans of the group were at each other's throats. It could be described as a bloodbath. "Oh yeah, Chunzai, well done. Don't walk the red carpet with those idiots." This small group really has no soul left. I'm crying. Tomato Entertainment's director. Can you stop making fun of them? I'm so angry. Jiang Chun, when are you going to stop hurting the rest of C7? Please make a solo debut and let the other kids go. It's obviously the other 6 who are leeching off our brother Jiang Chen's popularity like vampires. Where did they get the nerve to scold him? So they pick up their bowls to eat, then put them down, and start cursing? When passers-by saw the war of words between the fans, they instinctively didn't have a good impression of C7. After all, the fans' actions were ultimately paid for by their idols. However, the atmosphere in the 2 under 1 roof live stream was poles apart. Sure Sui wasn't paying attention to the live stream at all. Instead, he was teasing Xiao Naofu the entire time. He took out Xiao Naofu's favorite dried fish and waved it in front of the soft white cat's eyes. When the dried fish moved to the left, Xiao Naofu looked to the left. When the dried fish moved to the right, Xiao Naofu looked to the right. "Do you want to eat?" Sure Sui asked lazily. "Meow." Xiao Naofu pretended to be well behaved. Sure Sui reached out to it. "Shake hands." Xiao Naofu. Damn it, this Hohu doesn't eat handouts. Xiao Naofu remained unmoved. Shi Sui smiled and pretended to put the dried fish back into the sealed bag. Xiao Naofu. Woo-woo, this stupid woman wouldn't do this to me. She would even break the dried fish into pieces and feed it to this Hohu. This stinky man is so bad. The comments in the live stream. Xiao Naofu is a foodie. Is Shurindi training Xiao Naofu like a dog? How can you bear to bully such a cute kitten? Let me feed it. Xiao Naofu felt wronged and helpless, but it wanted to eat. She could only reluctantly reach out her pink paw and touch Shi Sui's palm perfunctorily. Shi Sui fed it a dried fish, pinched the back of its neck, and praised, "Good boy, Xiao Naofu is the smartest." Xiao Naofu bit into the dried fish and proudly raised its chin. This Hohu is just that outstanding. Shi Sui took out another dried fish and gave a new order, "Roll." F*CKU, for the sake of dried fish. I'll endure it. The cute kitten rolled around in his arms, unable to control herself. Her face fell onto the man's straight and long thighs. She tried to roll half a circle, and this time she finally succeeded. Her belly was facing the sky, and her little head was facing the sky. However, her claws accidentally hooked onto the corner of the man's satin shirt, revealing the outline of his thin waist and abdomen. The netizens exclaimed, F*CK. For a moment, she didn't know if she should be envious of Shurindi for having a cat to rub. I should be envious that Xiao Naofu can roll around on Shurindi's lap. The next second, Shi Sui chuckled and said, "Xiao Naofu, why don't you bark? I'll reward you with double the amount of dried fish." Xiao Naofu's icy blue eyes instantly widened. "Are you the devil?" The live stream was going crazy with laughter. "Ha ha, Shi Sui is probably only 10 years old. Xiao Naofu. Although I'm not a real person, you're a real dog. Oh my God, I love this ruffian Shurindi too. I can't resist the charm of a mature man." Li Jianyu couldn't stand it anymore and reminded her, "Teacher Shi Sui, have you forgotten that you're still watching the live stream?" Coincidentally, it was Qin Wanyan's turn to appear on the red carpet. Chapter 126. Amidst the misty rain, Qin Wanyan appeared. The spotlights kept flashing as they aimed at Qin Wanyan. Her chestnut-colored hair was slightly curled, and she wore an exquisite crown headband on top of her head with diamonds in the shape of stars. The most stunning thing about her was her dress. It was a long dress that gradually changed from silver to blue. It was covered with a thin layer of gauze on the outside, and the tiny diamonds sparkled like a river of stars. It was so beautiful that it was suffocating. Ah, Fairy Qin Wanyan! The screams of the fans broke through the clouds, loud enough for all the viewers in the live stream to hear. The number of comments in the live stream increased visibly. "Wow, it's really a fairy. Sister, you've worked hard in the mortal world. Book the red carpet tonight. The moon won't come for you, but Fairy Qin will come for you." Qin Wanyan's facial expression was outstanding. Even though it was raining, she still smiled brightly. She walked to the front of the signature board and signed her name in a fluid motion. The meticulously designed handwriting was light and elegant, and there were even more people praising her in the live stream. Woolly Fairy Qin is so talented, even her handwriting is ethereal. This dress is so beautiful. I can feel it sparkling with every movement. Thinking of the Vase Fairy's cheap red dress, the fairy's outfit is a huge blow to the Vase Fairy. Why isn't Sister walking the red carpet with Jiang Chen? They're clearly an on-screen couple. Although the viewership of Heartbeat wasn't as high as Two Under One Roof, it was still very popular. Furthermore, due to the main theme of the show being romance-oriented and the guests bringing up their own topics of discussion, the fans of the various shows had already torn each other apart. Jiang Chen's popularity was there for all to see. Even though he and Qin Wanyan didn't feel like a couple, they still managed to attract a group of fans. Jiang Chen's girlfriend fans were very aggressive, and they started tearing apart the couple fans on the spot. It's just a variety show effect. Can a certain female artist stop deceiving herself? Qin Wanyan is 5 years older than Chenzai, okay? She's an old woman. She won't let Chenzai go. Fans of the couple crawl. Jiang Chen is the most popular actor in his career. Don't be like our little brother. Due to the huge number of female fans, the couple fans were outnumbered. Soon, no one in the streaming room dared to pair Jiang Chen and Qin Wanyan up. In the nanny van, the agent was yelling at Jiang Chen. Are you deaf or retarded? I told you to walk the red carpet with Qin Wanyan. Now that you've grown up, you won't even listen to me anymore, right? Let me tell you, without me, you are nothing. I can help you reach the top, but I can also make you fall into the mud. The agent scolded Jiang Chen fiercely, but Jiang Chen didn't respond. In any case, he was already used to it. This kind of verbal violence was something he had to endure all the time. Seeing his stubborn look, the agent was so angry that he wanted to slap him. She was bribed by Qin Wanyan's manager. Now that things were messed up, wouldn't she have to spit out all the money? Just thinking about, it was like cutting her flesh. As a matter of fact, she didn't have much ability. It was pure luck that she had managed to raise Jiang Chen, who had made a fortune. Taking advantage of Jiang Chen's easygoing personality, she brainwashed him every day. She had made a lot of money from him. In her opinion, Jiang Chen was her possession, and he had to listen to her completely. The agent rolled her shrewd but unscrupulous eyes and coaxed Jiang Chen later at the annual meeting interact more with Qin Wanyan. I can help you plead with the leaders to let you leave C7. How about that? Isn't that your wish? Jiang Chen, who had been numb all this time, finally moved. Chapter 127. As Qin Wanyan disappeared from everyone's sight, her fans were still reminiscing about her stunning appearance. That dress is so beautiful. I must buy one as long as I'm alive. Her skin is so good too. I feel like she's even thinner and fairer in person. Did you hear the commotion caused by those celebrities taking pictures of Qin Wanyan just now? I really understand the term cameras now. The sound of the shutter clicking. The live stream was also filled with flattery, and Qin Wanyan's fans felt extremely honored. Does anyone have any objections to Goddess Qin's stunning appearance tonight? Apart from the seniors, Jiang Chen and the Vase Fairy are the only ones of the younger generation who haven't left, right? I just saw the order of the red carpet released by Tomato Entertainment. It seems like Jiang Chen and Qin Wanyan were supposed to walk together. That's not right. Why am I seeing the Vase Fairy's manager? Is she next? Ha ha ha, we're in for a good show. This order of appearance is great. Appearing after Qin Wanyan isn't just stunning, it's simply crushing her. Nen got out of the car and carefully opened a black umbrella before opening the door. Tomato Entertainment was obviously trying to stir up trouble. The cameraman in charge of the live stream immediately rushed forward and deliberately took a close-up shot of the car door. One of the fans at the scene shouted, "Demon, show yourself!" Laughter rang out everywhere, and the live stream began to mock her without restraint. The next second, what came into view was a pair of sparkling silver high heels. Her fair ankles were exquisite, and they were blocked by the trailing skirt in a flash. Xiangyi leaned out of the car. Her wine-red spaghetti strap dress was embellished with sequins, and her skin was as white and dense as cream. Her frame was slender but not overly skinny. Her straight shoulders and swan-like neck outlined the beautiful curves of a young girl. Her black hair was tied up, but it wasn't tied into a rigid bun. Instead, it was casually wrapped with a printed silk scarf, with a few strands of hair scattered around her collarbone, looking lazy and casual. She didn't put on heavy makeup, and her foundation was clean and clear. Her orange-colored eye makeup looked like it was sprinkled with the most gorgeous colors of the sunset. Her eye sockets were lightly applied with sequins, which complemented her dress and made her face look exceptionally bright and beautiful. Xiangyi nodded slightly to express her gratitude to her manager, who was holding the umbrella. Her bright eyes happened to meet the camera of the live broadcast. Xiangyi, who had a few days of live streaming experience, already had a good sense for the camera. Her red lips curled up slightly, and a smile bloomed on her face. Everyone, the netizens in the live stream, were speechless. The comments section instantly exploded. F***CK? F***CK. Everyone's vocabulary was at its lowest at this moment, but as if they were bewitched, they stared unblinkingly at the girl on the screen. The fan who shouted, "Let's go live," looked as if he had seen a ghost, but he was also full of shock. The noisy scene fell silent in an instant, until Jiang Chen didn't go anywhere after getting out of the car. Instead, he strode towards Xiangyi and bent down to lift her skirt, whispering, "Sister, be careful." Only then did Xiangyi realize that there was a selfie stick in front of her. She didn't know if it was dropped by a fan or someone had done it on purpose. If she tripped, she would probably become the biggest joke of the night. Xiangyi tilted her head slightly, her eyebrows slightly curved. "Thank you, little brother." The silent scene erupted with earth-shattering screams. Ah! Chapter 128. There were so many comments in the stream that there was a pause. Who said the vase fairy is ugly? What kind of peerless fairy is she? For the first time, I don't think the term vase fairy is derogatory. Can an ugly person be called a vase? Is this a prearranged script? A top celebrity personally lifting her skirt? Even a novel wouldn't dare write this. Is there anyone who can read lips? What did Chenzai and his sister say just now? Top celebrity X 18th tier female star. There's another weird couple. Flowers bloom in the hope that you will last forever. It's hard to find flowers when you're idle. Thousands of flowers are hard to look at. Sister is a fairy in a bottle. The description of a fairy in a bottle is perfect. Sister Yi's fans are giving me envious looks. You guys are so good at praising. In reality, Jiang Chen didn't realize what he was doing until later. He wasn't afraid of being scolded, but he didn't want to implicate Xiangyi. His mind working quickly, the teenager lifted her skirt and stepped over the obstacle. Only then did he raise his arm and carefully ask, "Sister, do you want to walk the red carpet with me?" If he had taken the initiative, perhaps everyone would have scolded him alone. Xiangyi didn't care. She had always thought walking the red carpet was just a formality. Since Jiang Chen had invited her, and she didn't hate him, she took his arm. The fan screamed even louder. The combination of a handsome man and a beautiful woman was too lethal. Jiang Chen in a black suit and Xiangyi in a spaghetti strap red dress were a perfect match. Surprisingly, the two's temperament was also very compatible. Jiang Chen had a stoic face. Although he was handsome, it was inevitable that he would appear cold and unapproachable, making him seem out of reach. But next to the gentle and cheerful Xiangyi, he was like a stream during the melting season. His entire being seemed to soften. In the manner, when Qin Wanyan appeared, Shi Sui looked up and glanced at her. She then looked away with a lack of interest and continued to pinch Xiao Naofu's face. Xiao Naofu was angry, but didn't dare say anything. It was extremely aggrieved. The bullet screen was filled with laughter. Xiao Naofu, "I'm willing" written all over my face. JPG, "Brother, my face is soft and easy to pinch. Come and pinch my face." Instead of dreaming, why don't you find a master to perform a ritual and see if you can possess Xiao Naofu? For Sure Sui sisters, they were satisfied to see Sure Sui. Even though Sure Sui didn't talk much and just played with the cat, they enjoyed it. Hey, Teacher Xiangyi is out. Unknowingly, Li Jianyu had moved closer to Sure Sui. His smile was that of an old father looking at his youngest daughter. He even imitated the tone of a fan's voice and said to Sure Sui, "Please, Sure Sui, take a look at our beautiful sister. It's not a loss to invest in little sister." Bullet screen. Ha ha ha. The director's online. Head massaging is still okay. Just when everyone thought that Sure Sui wouldn't respond to Li Jianyu's teasing, the man raised his narrow eyes and looked at the tablet. The screen happened to show Xiangyi smiling at the camera. The man, who had been dispirited, suddenly curled his thin lips and said in a sultry and flirtatious voice, "Sister is quite pretty. Ah, Sure Sui's smile is killing me." Then, Sure Sui saw Jiang Chen rush over to lift Xiangyi's skirt. Then, the little girl took his arm, and the two walked down the red carpet together. The man was about to feed Xiao Naofu some dried fish when he suddenly took it back. Xiao Naofu was puzzled and confused. "Meow, meow, meow. I'm hungry. I want to eat dried fish." The man's cold and strict voice sounded in the cat's ears. "No, you're not hungry. Xiao Naofu. Sure Sui, can you be a human?" Chapter 129. On the red carpet, Xiangyi and Jiang Chen weren't like the other artists who were frantically dragging their feet. Apart from Jiang Chen stopping for a few seconds in the middle to bow to his fans to express his gratitude, the two had reached the end of the red carpet in the blink of an eye. Jiang Chen signed his name and added a wavy cartoon at the end. This was the signature of every member of C7. The fans in the live stream were so excited that they were about to cry. "Ah, it's the C7 logo. Chun-Chin has a group in his heart." The loyal fans were upset, but since it was their son who had signed it, they couldn't say anything. In fact, it was Tomato Entertainment who didn't allow Jiang Chen to leave the group, nor did they allow him to return to the group. It was Jiang Chen who had been stuck in the middle and had to bear the resentment of both fans and teammates. It was all for the sake of creating a topic of discussion. After all, it was still a topic of discussion. Wouldn't it be great to earn money from both the group and loyal fans? The hostess in charge of handing out the pen didn't even look at Jiang Chen as she stared straight at Xiangyi. The girl was so fair that she seemed to glow. Her whiteness was natural, unlike Qin Wanyan, who looked quite fair from afar, but up close, even her limbs were covered in foundation. Xiangyi took the golden pen from her and thanked her softly. Her tone was polite and soft, making the hostess's heart skip a beat. Ah, what kind of heavenly voice is this? Xiangyi didn't use the cursive signature she had designed before, and just casually wrote her name on the signature board. His strokes were forceful yet casual, natural, and smooth, as if they were formed by nature. This handwriting instantly stunned the netizens. F***CK, is this semi-cursive? Respect. The little vase's handwriting is so beautiful. There's no harm if there's no comparison. Compared to other people's scribbles, this girl's handwriting is like a clear stream. Even Jiang Chen couldn't help but take a few more glances at Xiangyi's handwriting. He had been sent by his family to be a trainee when he was in middle school. He had practiced his signature before, so it looked very natural. In fact, his handwriting looked like a primary school student's. "Sister is amazing," Jiang Chen thought to himself. A gust of wind blew, and the hostess sneezed from the cold. She had been standing here for too long, and her hands and feet were already cold. Xiangyi placed the pen back on the tray in her hands and pulled off the scarf that was wrapped around her hair. Her fine black hair cascaded down elegantly like a waterfall. She draped the scarf over the shoulders of the attendant and nimbly tied a knot with her fair hands. "Go home and cook some brown sugar ginger soup tonight. Be careful not to catch a cold. It's been hard on you. The hostess. Her eyes were filled with surprise as she stuttered, Thank you, thank you. Why is he so gentle? It was only after Xiangyi had walked far away that she suddenly regained her senses. How was she going to return the scarf? Bullet comments in the live stream. I can replay that scene 100 times. This must be a girl's gentle charm. I'm being seduced. Hee, she's not going to play the role of a retard and is going to play the role of a gentle person? Disgusting. It's obvious that this was arranged beforehand. At the venue, according to the name tag, Xiangyi sat in the seat arranged by the company. The staff probably wanted to stir up some trouble, so they deliberately arranged the most talked-about female artists together. From left to right, they were Mo Li, Lin Jia, Xiangyi, and Qin Wanyan. As soon as the other three female artists saw Xiangyi's outfit, their faces stiffened. The cameraman in charge of the live stream even gave them a panoramic view. Suddenly, a godly comment appeared in the live stream. This is simply Queen Xiangyi and her maids. Chapter 130. Someone even took a screenshot of this comment and posted it on Weibo. Soon, it was reposted by a funny blogger, and the internet was instantly filled with laughter. Qin Wanyan and the other two's expressions are so funny. It's a vivid interpretation of what it means to eat a fly. Probably everyone wants to be the center of attention, but in the end, they were killed by Black Swan in a split second. Seriously, the Suspender Skirt sisters' looks and temperament are amazing. As we all know, there's a big gap between an internet celebrity and a celebrity. The gap between her and the other three is like the gap between a celebrity and a socialite. The description of a socialite is too apt. The Little Vases family is the real deal. That calm and gentle temperament isn't something an average person can have. Fortunately, the cameraman quickly went to take pictures of Jiang Chen and the C7 boy group. The atmosphere in the live broadcast room changed abruptly as they began to tear each other apart. Mo, Li, and Xiangyi had never crossed paths before, so they greeted each other indifferently. Lin Jia, on the other hand, had been at odds with Xiangyi for a long time. After playing with her phone for a while, she said sarcastically, Xiangyi, do you know what the netizens say about you? They say you're a vase. Aren't they indirectly saying you're shallow? Xiangyi said indifferently, aren't they saying I'm good looking? Lin Jia was dumbfounded. Are you a logical genius? She ground her teeth. But some people say you only know how to seduce men with your face. Even Jiang Chen was bewitched by you, which means, Xiangyi, yeah, I'm good looking. Lin Jia's eyes widened, her fake eyelashes frighteningly long. You, what are you so proud of? So, what if you're good looking? Xiangyi, thank you, you flatter me. Lin Jia's face turned green with anger, but she couldn't find any words to refute. Qin Wanyan secretly scolded her for being so stupid. She was choked by a few words. However, Xiangyi was a little strange. She had become sharp-tongued. She chose her words carefully and asked softly, Dear, I've sent you so many messages. Why haven't you replied to any of them? I haven't been using my phone much recently. My phone number and social media account have been switched back to the original one. The one who occupied her body didn't have her memories, so she couldn't unlock her phone or log into her account. Everything was new. Xiangyi quickly transmigrated back and changed her phone number and account number back. Qin Wanyan already knew about this excuse from Yan Nai, but she didn't believe it at all. How could anyone not use electronic devices these days? She held Xiangyi's hand affectionately. You're not even close to me anymore. My dear, do you have any misunderstandings about me? I heard that you lost your memory. I was so worried about you. Xiangyi calmly pulled her hand away. She didn't like to have any physical contact with strangers. I'm sorry, I don't remember anything from the past year. Her attitude was distant, but her etiquette was flawless. Even if Qin Wanyan wanted to make a fuss about it, she couldn't. Then let's add each other as friends. Qin Wanyan decided to play along with her for now. Anyway, with Xiangyi's brain, she would still be fooled by her in the end. I still want to be the best sister in the world with you, Emma Lee suddenly said. Xiangyi, let's add each other as friends too? Xiangyi wasn't keen on socializing, but she didn't reject it either. She casually added the two of them. Lin Jia, who felt left out, said in a huff, "Don't even think about adding me. Even if you do, you'll be on my blacklist." Xiangyi looked down and said, "Oh, Lin Jia." Chapter 131. Lin Jia waited for a long time, but Xiangyi didn't say a single word. She had more question marks on her head. Shouldn't she say something polite at a time, like this? But Xiangyi was sitting calmly, her swan-like neck and shoulders forming a beautiful arc. She looked straight ahead calmly. Lin Jia, you're really not going to add me? She suddenly felt like she was being left out. By then, almost everyone had arrived. It was the annual meeting, and without exception, the big boss and the small boss had to give a speech. There were a few performances in between, all of which were performed by their own artists, so labor fees were saved. Xiangyi flipped through the program list out of boredom and found that the last performance was a singing and dancing performance by Jiang Chen's male group. Suddenly, her phone vibrated. She looked down. It was a message from Nan. Nan, sweetheart, Nan, crying. Jif Xiangyi sent a question mark over. Nan, boo-hoo, I'm in the bathroom, but there's no more toilet paper. Sweetheart, I'm willing to go to your house every day to wash the dishes, sweep the floor, raise pigs, and collect eggs. Nan, don't tell anyone it's me. I don't want to be the dumbest agent in the company. Xiangyi, she raised her hand to her forehead, speechless. If it was a guy, she only knew Jiang Chen. She glanced in Jiang Chen's direction and found that he wasn't in his seat. Where did he go? Forget it. She'd better go in person. Xiangyi left quietly, in the bathroom. When Xiangyi arrived, a cleaner happened to be there. She asked someone to go in and rescue Nan while she sat on a rattan chair in the corner of the balcony in a daze. She had never been interested in events like banquets since she was a child. She planned to ask Nan if she could sneak out early when he came out. She didn't know if the cat and the man had eaten yet. Tap, tap, tap. The sound of high heels clicking on the ground could be heard. The person stopped on the balcony. With the green plants as a barrier, she did not notice Xiangyi in the corner. She directly scolded the young man in front of her. "Are you out of your mind? I told you to walk the red carpet with Qin Wanyan, but you didn't listen. I told you to interact with her, but you still didn't listen. You even went to lift that *TCH's dress. Why are you so annoying? Without you, would she have died or become crippled?" A familiar but weak male voice sounded. "Sister Ling, please don't say that." Xiangyi raised her eyebrows. She should check the almanac before going out today. Was it written that it was suitable for eating melons? Moreover, he seemed to be the one eating it. The agent called Sister Ling sneered. "Why can't I say it? Don't be bewitched." How could she compare to a single strand of Qin Wanyan's hair? Look at how she's dressed today. She's only wearing a spaghetti strap, showing off her figure so much. I think she wants to slit her top all the way up to her neck. Why do you think she's qualified to appear on a variety show with Shuringdi? Who knows? He might have slept with all of them. Enough. Jiang Chen raised his head and looked straight at her. Due to the fear he had accumulated over a long period of time, his voice was trembling, but he was very angry. Not talking about others behind their backs is the most basic courtesy. Slap. A crisp slap rang in Jiang Chen's face, making his ears ring. "How can you talk to me like that? How can you talk to me like that? Have you forgotten who you are?" Jiang Chen clenched his fist, but he endured it out of habit. "Sister Ling, was very pleased. She felt that she had successfully trained Jiang Chun. He didn't even dare to resist. He was more obedient than a dog. The next second, Motherf asterisk Ker, UB asterisk TCH, Haichui, out of nowhere, a man who hadn't even pulled up his pants properly rushed over and spat a mouthful of saliva right in her face. Chapter 132. Sister Ling screamed. Jiang Chun was stunned, especially when he saw Nan's gaudy beach-style underwear. The young man awkwardly turned his face away. Sister Ling was wearing a dress today and didn't have any tissues in it. She used her hands to rub it a few times and was disgusted. She screamed like crazy. Nan, are you crazy? They were all managers of the same company. Although there was a difference in status, they still knew each other. Nan put his hands on his hips, his hair standing on end. Who told you to have such a cheap mouth? You deserve it. If you dare to say anything bad about our sweetheart, I'll spit you to death. I can't outflame the netizens, but you think I can't outflame you? Xiangyi, who was still unnoticed in the corner, was speechless. This was probably a physical attack, right? Sister Ling's expression changed, but she quickly denied it. Who did I scold? Do you have proof? Using violence against a colleague. I'll go ask the boss to fire you right now. Nan's eyes widened. He didn't think she could be so shameless. She even made a false accusation. So he was Sister's manager. Jiang Chun pursed his lips. Sister Ling, forget it. He was just angry. Sister Ling looked at him with contempt. You're just a clay Buddha and you want to protect others? Nan was furious. Fine, then I'll also complain. I'll say you hit Jiang Chun. You're so arrogant that you even hit an artist. In Nan's mind, of course his artist had to be spoiled. Although he was just a weak and inexperienced manager, he knew that the first thing he had to protect was the artist's interests. This was the most basic professional ethics. Sister Ling was disdainful. Who do you think will believe you? Where's the proof? Can you produce it? Isn't this a witness? Nan looked at Jiang Chun. The young man's expression froze, and he avoided his gaze in shame. Nan immediately knew what was going on. This probably wasn't the first time, nor would it be the last. Although he looked like a top celebrity, he was actually just a child. It wasn't surprising that he was caught, but he didn't expect Sister Ling to be so shameless. Nan gritted his teeth. So you're going to report me? What? Scared? Sister Ling was very proud. Why don't you kneel down, and I'll consider giving you a chance. Kneel. Nan hesitated. Sister Ling's lips curled up. In fact, even if Nan knelt before her, she would still complain. She was just teasing him now. However, her smile froze in a few seconds. Nan rushed forward and grabbed her hair. I'll kneel before your mother's ashes, okay? After giving birth to such an idiot like you, isn't the grass on your mother's grave already a few meters long? Oh, right. Let me emphasize that I'm insulting your mother here, not your biological mother. The old lady is so innocent. She's just an illusory spiritual existence that I've imagined. She only exists in this catfight and only represents your father's disappointment in you. Sister Ling, let go of me. You damned gay. Be asterisk TCH. Are you even a man? Hee, are you even human? Nan knew that when fighting with a woman, he had to take the initiative to pull her hair. Sister Ling wanted to pull him back, but it was too late. She was in so much pain that tears came out. Jiang Chun was watching from the side, completely dumbfounded. Sister Ling came back to her senses and shouted, Jiang Chun, why aren't you helping me? Are you F asterisk king bullying me because I can't call for help? Nan was anxious. Suddenly, a gentle and soft voice entered his ears. Coming, Nan. Chapter 133. Why does this sound like our sweetheart's voice? Nan turned his stiff neck and looked at Xiangyi in the corner of the balcony. The girl smiled faintly and waved at him. Ah, Nan. He let go of Sister Ling in 1 second, took a few steps back in 2 seconds, and put his hands behind his back in 3 seconds. He pretended to be a good boy. She was the one who started it. Sister Ling, with her face full of saliva and messy hair, was dumbfounded. For the first time in her life, she experienced what it meant to be the guilty party complaining first. She shouted at Jiang Chun in exasperation, "What are you waiting for? Are you just going to watch me get beaten up?" Without waiting for Jiang Chun to respond, Nan said, "Little brother Jiang Chun, I advise you not to provoke our sweetheart, who can kill a 200-pound pig with a knife." "Xiangyi, do I not care about my face?" She lifted her skirt and stood up. Her skirt rippled in a beautiful arc. She walked forward lazily and raised her eyebrows at Jiang Chun. Jiang Chun immediately understood and coughed. "I didn't see anything." "Sister Ling." "Jiang Chun, how dare you treat me like this?" Sister Ling shouted and screamed again. Xiangyi's expression didn't change. She pulled Sister Ling's hair all the way to the sink and pressed her head in. Then she turned the tap to the maximum. Ah! The girl's actions were smooth and casual. She even reminded him, lazily, "Ah, Nan, cover your brother's eyes. It's not good for children to see this." "Ah, Nan." Jiang Chun. The short few seconds felt like an eternity to Sister Ling. The cold water, the biggest current, made her feel like she was about to die. She reluctantly put on a fierce expression and said, "Xiangyi, do you still want to stay in the circle? Aren't you afraid of news of an artist being violent?" Xiangyi said indifferently, "Where's the evidence?" Sister Ling was stunned. She suddenly realized that there were no cameras in the washroom, and this washroom was in a remote area. There was probably no one else inside, even if there was who would record a video or audio. Without concrete evidence, her words alone could not be used as evidence. Sister Ling glared at Jiang Chun fiercely, suspecting that Jiang Chun and Xiangyi had colluded to torture her. When Jiang Chun realized this, his handsome face turned extremely pale. Actually, he wasn't afraid of Sister Ling threatening to ban or freeze him. What he was afraid of was Sister Ling hurting C7's players and fans again and again. This time, he had vented his anger. But so what? He still couldn't get rid of the nightmarish existence of Sister Ling. Sizzle! The faint sound of electric current was accompanied by static, but soon a conversation could be heard. "Are you out of your mind? Maybe he slept with everyone." Sister Ling stared at Xiangyi in shock. The girl's tone was still indifferent. "I recorded it while I was at it. Are you surprised?" Sister Ling shivered from the cold and started to panic. Jiang Chun was easy to manipulate because he was kind-hearted. Besides, he had been sent to be a trainee since he was a child. He was as pure as a blank piece of paper. He hadn't thought of recording or video recording at all. Nan was pleasantly surprised. "Bitch, if you show this to the boss, let's see how you can continue to be Jiang Chen's manager." Jiang Chen was also excited, but he heard the girl's lips curl up, her eyes sharp. "Why do you want to show it to the boss? Wouldn't it be better to show it to the fans? Hey, you should know the fandom better than me. Internet violence, human flesh. TSK, you're already scared after shaking like that." Chapter 134. Sister Ling was shaking like a sieve, not sure if it was because of the cold or the fear. Xiangyi was still describing to her, if the fans knew that their favorite idol not only had to endure verbal abuse at all times, but he would also get beaten up at the slightest disagreement, how angry do you think they would be? Exclamation point. Sister Ling's fear was getting deeper and deeper. "Let me guess what you've been threatening Jiang Chen about. Future? Teammates?" The girl was clearly smiling, but there was no warmth in her eyes. "Do you want to experience the feeling of being threatened in return?" If I were him, I wouldn't let you off so easily. I would keep you by my side and slowly torture you. Sister Ling finally couldn't take it anymore, tears streaming down her face. I was wrong. I know I was wrong. As long as you delete the recording, I'll do anything you want. Xiangyi was unmoved. You're begging the wrong person. Sister Ling suddenly realized and knelt down in front of Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen, Chen. I was the one who brought you up until now. Even if I didn't do anything, I still worked hard. I've always treated you like a younger brother. The reason I was strict with you was because I had high expectations for you. Can you let Sister Ling go? Sister Ling will be your slave in the future. Don't you want to leave the group? I'll help you. I promise I'll help you. Jiang Chen's expression was complicated. His amber eyes flashed with a hint of struggle. Sister Ling said tentatively, How about you delete the recording first, then we can talk about it. Seeing this, Anan wanted to persuade Jiang Chen, but was stopped by Xiangyi. Let him choose. She said calmly, if Jiang Chen really chose to forgive her, then as a bystander, she had nothing to say. She would just take it as revenge for Nan. The girl's gentle voice was like spring thunder, waking Jiang Chen up. His gaze became firm, and he said coldly, You go first. I need to think about it. Chin Chen, go away. Go away immediately. The young man flipped out with red eyes. Sister Ling was scared out of her wits. She was afraid that if she angered him, Jiang Chen would really show the recording to the fans. She nodded and bowed. Okay, I'll go away immediately. I won't be an eyesore here. Sister Ling stumbled and ran away. Jiang Chen took a deep breath. He was exhausted. His calves felt weak. He had to lean against the wall to steady himself. No one had ever experienced his fear, so they couldn't understand how much courage that roar had taken from him. He was extremely ashamed. Sister, I'm sorry, I'm too weak. I didn't dare and didn't know how to make a decision. The young boy blamed himself and looked helpless. His eyes were wet, and he looked like a little puppy that had been abandoned by the roadside. Nan felt a little sorry for him and tried to share the blame for him. My dear, I'm also at fault. I'm too fierce. I shouldn't have made a move. Xiangyi, it seemed like she was the fiercest one. Why were they apologizing to her one by one? Jiang Chen, I'll send you the recording. If you trust your teammates, you can discuss with them how to solve the problem. Give it to the boss or threaten her. You can choose the most beneficial option. You're very kind, but you still need to have sharp edges when you need to. Only then can you protect yourself. Before you have the sense to sacrifice yourself, I hope you can have self-awareness first. You are the most important person, understand? Also, when you encounter problems, you have to be reasonable first. It's wrong to resort to violence and intimidation, like I did just now. Anand scratched his head. No, it's very satisfying. It's so satisfying. Jiang Chen looked at her with admiration. Sister, you were so cool just now. Don't you two muddle-headed people have a skewed view of the world? Xiangyi couldn't help but sigh. Asterisk, I want tickets. Good night. Chapter 135. By the way, brother, don't you still have a show? Xiangyi changed the topic. Jiang Chen reacted. I'll go back and prepare first. The youth took a few steps forward before stopping. He turned back and looked at Xiangyi. Will sister come and watch our performance? With wet eyes and a red handprint on his cheeks, the thin and handsome youth was like a soft cub, making people want to take pity on him. Xiangyi, yes, I will. Good luck. Jiang Chen clenched his fists excitedly and promised like a primary school student. I'll definitely perform well. Xiang's old mother nodded kindly. After sending Jiang Chen off, only Xiangyi and Nan were left in front of the sink. Xiangyi looked at Ah, Nan, her red lips moving, but before she could speak, "Ah, Nan, I know I was wrong. I really know. I shouldn't have scolded her, shouldn't have hit her." Nan lowered his head and played with his fingers. "Who told her to scold you? Everyone had a scale in their hearts. If Sister Ling had only scolded Jiang Chen today, Nan might have hesitated to speak up. But scolding Xiangyi was something he wouldn't hesitate to do. "Xiangyi, you're mistaken. I'm not blaming you." Nan raised his head and poked Xiangyi's arm. "Really? Woo-woo, my dear. You're really the best person in the world." Xiangyi calmly avoided him. You didn't wash your hands, did you?" "I just wanted to remind you to wash your hands. You have to wash your palms and the back of your hands. Rub your hands with soap for 30 seconds. In order to watch C7's performance, Xiangyi, who had wanted to slip away early, had no choice but to return to the venue. As the annual party drew to a close, the host began to announce the performance. The 7 boys waited nervously. It had been a long time since they had performed together, and they didn't have a stage to perform on. This time, although the lighting and sound weren't professional, there was a live broadcast. As long as they performed well, they wouldn't let their fans down. At this moment, the host pressed on his headset and listened attentively for a few seconds before saying in a regretful tone, "Sorry, due to a malfunction in the equipment, there's no way to perform the dance." The fans in the live stream exploded and turned on their microphones passionately. "I've waited so long for this. Tomato Entertainment is trash. Can't bear to spend money on an annual gala. F***CK. Her mentality collapsed. Her brothers had prepared for this stage for a long time. Cry, cry, cry." The 7 boys froze on the spot as if they had been electrocuted. However, the host still tried to save the situation, but he said in a very flirtatious way, "Why don't we send Jiang Chen as our representative to perform a guitar performance? Everyone, what do you think?" Instantly, except for Jiang Chen, the other 6 people looked toward Jiang Chen at the same time. There were complaints, sadness, and even more disappointment. Jiang Chen had put on a layer of foundation to cover the handprint on his face. At that moment, under the illumination of the gorgeous chandelier, he looked even paler. His lips moved as if he wanted to say something, but he was interrupted by the captain. "Forget it. Shut up. We don't need your explanation." The others also avoided Jiang Chen's gaze. At this moment, under such circumstances, they thought the company had colluded with Jiang Chen long ago. First, a wave of fans, then such a flirtatious move. The fans were bound to tear into each other again. This was the value of their existence, right? Hee hee, they were just tools.